Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. I'm joined by Nathan. I'm joined by James. I'm joined by Dan. And between all four of us, we own over 8 fursuits, which is perfect because we're about to start talking about, and our very first look at the Age of Sigmar battletome for 2023, the Beasts of Chaos. Now, I don't know, this is one thing I don't know. Dan, have you ever been a Beasts of Chaos player?
I was beast curious for a little while there. I bought the book. I started, like the previous book, I started playing around with some of them just for the fun of it. But then I moved over to Canada before I could finish the army. So I never actually got to put my hooves in, but I did go down that rabbit hole very, very deeply.
Nathan, have you ever entered the wild and tangled thickets of the realm of chaos and emerged a bestial man?
Not in Warhammer, no.
Welcome to the show. This is how it goes.
Could you turn yourself up a tiny bit, Nathan, your microphone, or put it closer to your face as it's wildly far away?
Well, I'm snuffling and snorting away, so I didn't expect your honour to hear that. But yeah, there we go. How's that?
Much better. Appreciate you.
Right.
Okay, good. And then finally, James, is it true that if you take off your jumper and t-shirt, you just are a beast man?
Basically, yeah. I'm probably more like an Ungol.
Okay. All right.
Like hairy, but there's patches of skin.
Oh, not really, but I'm pretty like not muscly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me the bow and like 12 points worth of damage.
All right. Perfect. James, you did play Beast of Chaos previously, though.
Yeah, several times.
Are you excited about the new book?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't know whether it's for now or later, my thoughts on the army. But as I thought about it earlier, tootling home, I was like, oh, I'm quite excited to learn what the new book's like. And then I thought, it's really weird, though, because it's an army I love the aesthetic of. And I'm one of those weird people where I'm like, oh, the Zangors never have quite have had the same, like, love from me as the actual goats. And as I tootled home and was thinking about it, I was like, but the Zangor kind of fit Age of Sigmar now better than the goats.
Interesting.
So I'll be interested to see whether they push the ones I feel match the style, because I think like Beast of Chaos in old Warhammer, old world. Sorry, now isn't it? Obviously, like, walked around the land, didn't they? Went through the forest, carried a big stone, beat people up, destroyed a village, but never stopped, just kept going. And so earlier I was like, oh, yeah, they've got like bits of leather, someone's axe, someone's hat, some skulls hanging from them. But I was like, but now they don't work as well because they're not walking through Kislev, are they? And getting some furs and being warm, and they're not walking through like Middenheim and killing people and getting leather. They should be walking through Fondia, which is like, and getting like giant beast hats, or the Realm of Fire, and like,
you don't think they're high fantasy enough. They're not as, there's not enough, dare I say it, whimsy.
Yeah, I think like they're one of those weird ones that looks like old fantasy, not high fantasy. And I think we've slowly watched the game shift from old world, right, to Age of Sigmar, from like fantasy as we knew it, Tolkien, to high fantasy and Games Workshop Zone. So I think it's interesting because we've got a new book, but no new models. One Beast Lord.
But these are always edgelord Mr. Tumnus, though, aren't they? Or previously they were.
Yeah, I get you.
Edgelord Mr. Tumnus is my new favourite way to describe Beasts of Chaos.
So I get that. So this isn't me. Sorry, this isn't me complaining, and it's not me moaning. It was just that weird moment where like people in those moments of quiet, you think more, right? So as I toured home, I was like, oh, it'll be interesting to see like what the book's like, how it plays, if I can drag an army out and play it based on what I own. And then I was like, oh, they don't really look like anything else anymore so much.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's a fair assessment picking it up, especially when you throw the Slangor in, which are like, dialed up, like, because we're very pro whimsy on the show. So, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think we're generally pro whimsy. like pretty pro. And so like Slangor are good levels of whimsy. And the classic Bestigor looks like an actual infantry unit, so yeah, kind of interesting. Thanks, Santi, for resubscribing. Okay, right, let's just dive straight in, shall we? And just there's kind of some top line stuff that we can get through. They still do ambushing as an army, but they no longer do summoning. Now, there's kind of like a bit of a story with the Beast of Chaos Battletome, in that at one point it was one of the worst performing armies in the game. Then they did a White Dwarf update, and they were like, why don't we give everyone a 4-up rally? And then everyone was like, oh, no, what have you done? And
this was a terrible mistake.
Terrible mistake. And so they had then one of the most successful win rates for a very long time, having just won the largest event. In fact, actually, they are CanCon. They won CanCon, and then they won LVO. So from 500 players over 2 events, it was a double Beast of Chaos first place, like America and Canada. So they were very good. So they were very, very strong. But obviously, the schedule for producing these books happens like this would have been written like over a year ago, maybe more. So I don't expect this to have been really written in response to that very high win rate. But instead, this is maybe how the army was always going, or something like that.
And I think the White Dwarf updates as well are not planned anywhere near as far in advance. So those are more their short-term band-aids, because they can get them out in the production cycle a lot quicker than like a full army book. So I have a feeling what we saw is the White Dwarf was like a patch that was put on without too much prep and planning, and then this book was always intended to come out at this time.
Yeah, and the rally mechanic's kind of weird, right? Because you kind of think of characters coming up from the dead. So just for people who might not know, rally is when you have a slain model in a unit, you roll a dice. On a 6-up, you return one of those slain models. But for Beast of Chaos, it was a 4+.
Doesn't everyone have a 4-up now?
Most, yes, but some don't, and they really understand that they don't.
Ogres.
Yeah.
Gutbusters, can you imagine how sexy it'd be to be rallying back like Mournfang, or even just regular infantry with 4 wounds?
But I always didn't picture it as like resurrecting them. Instead, I pictured it as like you had a unit of Bestigor that were charging forward, and then you just called more Bestigor out from the forest to kind of rejoin the unit. So I felt that had some theme to it. Anyway, but they lost summoning, which is also calling units out of the forest, which is pretty good. And then basically the TLDR is the army got a lot more expensive points-wise. It lost summoning, so the tempo of the army is very different. Some armies, they tend to have like a very like static tempo because they're able to like replenish their. Most armies, like a standard army, should drop off. Their tempo should decrease towards the end of the battle because they just don't have any stuff left. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. But some of the armies are kind of able to maintain a pretty consistent, or they're able to ramp and they're able to add more to that tempo because they can just have too much stuff. They can just keep summoning.
The last time I played this book was at Warhammer World. So the old book, with the White Dwarf update. And I only played it at one event. But like you could summon more on the board than you started with if you did it well. Like it was nuts. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, I'm getting 10 Bestigor and 10 Gore return.
Yeah, you could put a lot on the board, right? You could put a lot on the board. Anyway, so that's kind of the highlights. The War Scrolls got better. The points went up. Lost summoning. That's kind of the highlights. So we should probably talk about what they kept, right? So they've got the Beast Herd Ambush, and effectively everything can start off the board. Your whole army, if you wish, yeah. As long as it's got the Beast of Chaos keyword, keep it off the board. And there's even a designer's note. Battle Trait allows you to deploy all of your army units in your army as reserve units unless noted otherwise. And then when they do come on, they have an improved version of Outflank. This is a great opportunity to use that word because it doesn't get used enough. There's a difference between Deep Strike, which is where you teleport on the board 9 inches away, and Outflank, where you have to come in from a certain board edge or just from the board edge generally. And normally Outflank is like 6 inches, wholly within 6 inches of the board edge, 9 inches away from the enemy. That's how I've always described it. But unfortunately, this is 9 inches, so it's just an improved Outflank. So there we go. But that's what I always say.
And it's even more improved by the fact that you get +1 to charge if you set up on the battlefield in that turn.
That's going to come in really relevant because most of the War Scrolls, their horn
Gives him an extra one.
Yeah, the musician gives him an extra one. Yeah, Dan, you're right. So like that +2 is pretty crazy.
So 7, like if you think about the odds of a 9-inch charge with a reroll is in the
58%.
What was it? 58%. So a 7-inch charge with a reroll is like high 80s, I believe.
Meaning that just below that, I think actually. But yeah, it's high. It's very high, which is cool. And then a lot of their stuff happens from off board, which is kind of fun. So you can null deploy, keep everything off the board. And one of the advantages of this is it means your opponent can't fucking shoot all your stuff, which is great. Yeah, or even
you do have to come on turn 1 and 2, but then again, you really don't want to be holding off until turn 3 with stuff that's not on the board.
50% of my army, turn 2. The rest, turn 4.
It dies. So if you don't bring it on turn 3, it's just dead.
I know.
They've got lost.
It used to all have to come on turn 1 unless you took the blue, the dark ones, Dark Walkers, and if you took Dark Walkers, it could come on turn 2, but you could only, what do we call it? Outflank with the little units, not the big units.
Yes, but now it's anything. So, which is pretty cool. And like it's been said in the chat, also being able to come on 9 inches from the board edge also means you're very likely to be able to land on objectives. Which is really good. So there's some really fun stuff there. All right, so the next bit, a null deploy is pretty useful in the right situations, just keeping your valuable stuff off the board so your opponent can't just fucking body it with arrows. Seems like a real positive bit there. So I already think big win on that, Beast of Ambush. And the next one is crazy. I actually think that this is really good, Dan. I don't know about you.
I like it. I love the cost benefit of it. I think it's awesome, and it also forces your opponent to think about your heroic actions, both on and off the board, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, especially because in this battle pack, so while you're playing in Galère, you can obviously do, if you go second, you could do 2 heroic actions, right? So it kind of doubles out. By the way, Dan, people have mathed it for you. A 7-inch charge with a reroll is an 82% chance. So you nailed it there. Yeah. So very consistent, right? That's a very consistent charge.
You can, and if you're bringing on an entire army, you can rely. It's like I see there 58% for a 7-inch charge without a reroll. So if you're bringing on a whole army, you can bet that more than half your units will make it without a reroll, and anything that, like, if you've got that one unit that you need to get in, they're probably going to make it as long as they've got a reroll.
Yeah. So next up is the Rituals of Ruin. Right? The special heroic actions can be done with each hero already. Yes, thank you. So you've got Rituals of Ruin. In your hero phase, you can carry out 1 heroic action from the table below. So they've got a bunch of their unique heroic actions. Okay?
4 of them.
With a friendly Beast Chaos hero that's on the battlefield, in addition to other heroic actions. So I can do a heal, or I can try and get a CP, right? Or I can do best day ever, right? And then, if I want to do one of these heroic actions, then I can take D3 mortal wounds, or do D3 mortal wounds to a Beast of Chaos unit within 3 inches. So if I've got a couple of gore nearby, I can just be like, you guys suffer the penalty for this, and you take D3 mortal wounds. So there's the ability to do 2 heroic actions, which is pretty cool. And then, as if it's not any better, in addition, in your hero phase, you can carry out one of the heroic actions from the table with 1 friendly Beast of Chaos hero that's in reserve. Right? And if you do so before resolving the effect of the heroic action, you must allocate D3 mortal wounds to the unit. Right? And then if you're going to choose, like, a point on the battlefield, you basically declare a board edge. You say, they're on this board edge, that's where they are, and then I'm going to measure from the board edge. But you take D3 mortal wounds. So you can do a heroic action while off board, which is...
You can do 4 heroic actions while off the board.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Dan. If you did have 4 characters off board, you could do each one of these heroic actions off board and take D3 mortal wounds, which is just wild fun, right? No, isn't it?
One. Sorry,
that's in reserve.
One a turn. Yeah.
Wait. In addition, in your hero phase, you can carry out 1 of the heroic actions table below with 1 friendly Beast Chaos hero that's in reserve. Yeah, it's just one. Just one. Right? But they are great.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's one in particular that I think you're going to see done from board edges constantly, which we'll get to in a second, I guess.
Yeah. So what do you think about we'll talk about them and then we'll say. So I'll blast through them and then you can tell me which ones you like. Okay. You got Warping Curse, which is pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the Beast of Chaos hero carrying out this hero action. You take D6 mortal wounds. So you don't roll a dice. Doesn't require a CP. So if I just have a dude off board, I can just be like D6 mortal wounds, which is pretty nice.
It's just a cockatrice that always hits.
Yes. So if you're off board and they're on the table, can you do heroic leadership and one of these at the same time? Yes. No, you do this in addition.
Yeah,
right?
So it says you can carry out one of the heroic actions from the table below with each friendly Beast of Chaos hero, blah, 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 in addition to any other heroic actions you can carry out with those heroes.
Yeah, so super, super good, right? Yeah, and there's a way to add 6 inches to this range as well, right? Yeah, so yeah, there is a way to make it additional 6 inches. So adding additional 6 inches, so it's 18 inches. So already I'm like, cool, I've got a character, turn 1, there's just a dickhead goat who's off board who's like 12 inches from the board edge, D6 mortal wounds.
Yeah, that you can't stop.
Like no interaction, which is a conversation worth having, I think, maybe in a couple of shows in the future. But initially, wicked. Very strong.
I mean, it also, what it's going to be great for is like, say you're in combat and it's the start of your turn and you're trapped in combat, command to kill off the 1 or 2 models that are still stuck in combat with you and then move and charge.
Yeah, really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's great at sniping little support pieces as well. There's quick bosses or wizards and people like that.
Like
For free.
Legitimately terrifying.
Sure.
Legitimately terrifying on the first turn. So you're paying 95.
Well, it's even funnier, right? Because they don't even have to, like, so normally you'd screen a hero out from coming behind you. But he's just behind you anyway, because he's everywhere. He's on every board edge.
Is it,
in the woods.
Yeah.
He's
also, let's remember, this is an edition where they're like, yes, small foot heroes are the most important. Here are a bunch of rules so you can't target them with shooting, but let's also just give this dude a way to kill them from the board edge with no way to defend against it.
Yeah. And because there is literally no way to defend against it. Next one.
Well, I mean, they have to be visible, so you need to have spore splatters in your army.
Oh,
yeah, of course. Yeah,
correct. Because we are all
obviously the counter. Yeah,
of course. Nathan. Apologise. Yeah, and yeah, of course, you can extend that to 18 inches if you want to. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Next one, Blood Torn. I actually think weirdly, I even prefer this even more.
This is the one I think you'll see everywhere.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad we're on the same page. So you pick a unit within 12 inches, so 12 inches of the board edge, not wholly within either, of the Beast of Chaos hero carrying out this heroic action. That is more than 3 inches from one enemy unit. So basically, it can't be engaged in combat. An enemy unit that isn't engaged in combat.
No, friendly units. From friendly units, not enemy.
Yeah, so friendly units are your units, Dan.
Oh, right. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's an enemy unit that's not engaged with your friendly units.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Sorry, I get it. Yep.
And then your opponent must make a 2d6-inch move with that unit. All the models in that unit must finish that move close as possible to the Beast of Chaos hero carrying out this heroic action, more than 3 inches from all other units in your army. Right? This is just outrageous. So you can just pull a unit immediately away out as a screen. Like, this is just insane stuff, in my opinion.
Well, think about how often in an army there's a linchpin unit that's anchoring their battle line, or more importantly, and this is where I think you're going to see it the most, you don't have anything deployed on the board, your opponent moves forward to capture something, and what do they always do? They leave a unit at the back holding their objectives. Suddenly you pull that unit off of that objective and you bring on your units around them 9 inches away and 9 from the board edge. So you can effectively pull them from zoning you out from bringing your models on using the outflank.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, this is going to absolutely fuck people, in my opinion. Like, Techless Castles. Do you want to pull that bad boy straight out? Like, that's pretty fun. I love that. Like, moving the screens out of the way. Yeah. Pulling screen. This is, for me, I know that it sounds like D6 Mortal Wounds is really strong, but this one feels like if I could open up the enemy army to an immediate charge that will just decimate their more fragile units, this is just the big, like, this is, in my opinion, like an auto win ability. Like, because you could just like open your enemy up and they're like, I wasn't expecting that. I lose, basically. Right, so like it's just pretty crazy. And then the other one is Brand of Wild Fury. Pick up friendly Beast Chaos hero, holding within 12, and then until the end of the turn, Beast Chaos heroes, Beast Chaos units have a ward save of 6 inches, while are wholly within 12 inches of the hero you picked. So I assume wholly within 12 inches of the board edge. So turn 1, I could say board edge in my deployment. Everything wholly within 12 inches of this has got a 6-up ward, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as good as pulling the screens out of the front of a hero they're trying to keep alive.
But remember, you don't have to do these off the board. Like, these can be done from on the board as well.
Yes. Like, yeah, the Blood Taunt later on in the game, like, it's still always going to be a viable option, right? Which is pretty good.
Think about Mega Gargants that want to just get on an objective and sit there and not move, and then you basically Scorpion get over here them off the objective. Like, you're going to cause all kinds of problems.
Yeah, because there's not a limit on who that happens to, right? So you could just pull a Mega Gargant.
Yeah, there's no limit on it. Yeah, it's
hilarious. The only problem is the range is 12 inches, and you could, if they roll a 9, you pull them, I guess, into combat with the hero that just did it.
You can't pull them into combat.
Yeah, it says
it says more than 3 inches from all other units in your army. Yeah, so doesn't that mean you pull them into combat using the ability?
Oh, you could do
shit.
Yeah. So you can. So there is a small risk to it where if your character's off the board, you don't care. But if the character's on the board and you're like, Mega Gargant, let's pull you off the objective, he rolls a 9, you're like, fuck. However,
he was a worthy sacrifice.
No, but the thing is, this is done in your hero phase, right? In your movement phase, you just retreat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Anyway, okay, that's very good. The 6-up ward, I think, will be not as important, and then Alpha Beast.
That's how I read it as well. Yeah. I read Alphabet.
You pick up friendly Beast Chaos unit wholly within 12 inches of the hero, and do not take battle shot tests for them until for that unit this turn. And that's actually pretty useful. There's a lot of stuff in the meta right now, which means you can't use Inspiring Presence. Obviously, everyone is taking Horror Gas to try and spook some squigs right now. So this is a nice little attack against that. And again, you're not paying any resources for this. This is just 4, in my opinion, with maybe the 6-up war being the least valuable, but 4 additionally useful heroic actions which don't require CP, which is kind of like in line with what we're seeing from the Gits book, where they've got some heroic actions which also are a free resource of a very valuable, like, kind of like punch in the art. Like, something that is really uplifting the value of the army is this free resource action. And I find that quite interesting right now.
And you've got to, yes, it causes D3 mortal wounds. However, anything on the board is passing those wounds onto Ungor or something shitty. The only risk is off the board, but you're still probably on average going to get 3, you'll get 2 turns of them before the character shows up.
Anyway, fantastic stuff, right, Dan? Fantastic. Nathan, what are you
it's
thinking?
Great.
Yeah. There's some super useful things there. This is the first time I'm seeing these things, and that Blood Taunt is a nightmare to deal with.
Like, that just exists in the game now. That fucking that has wrecked loads of army builds, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, whether or not the Beast of Chaos army can put enough units on the board to then actually threaten the opponent is kind of the follow-up.
Yeah.
It's a nice mechanic. Not sure if they've used it on the right factions theme-wise. More reinforcement seems appropriate. It's kind of interesting. I like the idea. I don't know. We'll see. It's odd. Again, Tzeentch just like, I'm going to do D6 mortal wounds at 18 inches. None of these shenanigans. And when we get into the spell lore, they've got great spells. Like, real value in this army, in my opinion.
and all that's cast in is a great Bray Shame.
He is great. James.
Oh, no. Someone with a wizard hat?
Maybe.
Put a hat on?
No one should use a wizard hat.
Sorry, Desert Sketch just asks, and just to confirm, saying, can you do all 4 if heroes are on the board? Yes. So you can
only do 1 heroic action, Dan.
No, these are in addition. They're not instead of, there's some that say if you can do a heroic action, like in books, it says you can do them instead of other heroic actions. These say, you can bet this is on the battlefield in addition to any other heroic actions you can carry out with those heroes.
Oh,
in
I
addition
see
to
how you're reading it. Yeah, okay. I feel like that is clarifying, but I understand.
I think it will, but other books do specifically say instead of. Like a lot of them specify you can do this heroic action instead of the ones you have access to. This is saying in addition. So I think you can do these, all 4 of these. So you could have 1 character off the board to do your 1 off the board, 3 on the board and do all 4.
Yeah, I understand. Because you're using a line from the first paragraph to carry on to the other paragraphs. Okay. All right. Interesting. We'll see how that gets FAQ. That's fun.
Yeah.
It says each hero. Yes, I agree, Jackie. Chat, I agree. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice feedback. Okay, so next bit, let's talk about the enhancements. So these are the command traits that we've got going on here. So there's some pretty good ones. You've got Bestial Cunning. After deployment, pick a friendly Beast Chaos reserve unit. You can set it up 7 inches away. So now you've got a 5-up rerollable charge from a unit. Pretty good. Next one, you got Propagator of Ruin. So POR. Then if you choose one of the heroic actions for the Rituals of Ruin battle trait, you can carry out a second different heroic action for the Rituals of Ruin battle trait with this general in that phase, and you do not have to allocate mortal wounds to this general before resolving the effect. So you can ignore that, which is pretty fun. We love that. And then you've got Skullfray Gorehorn. While this general is within 3 inches of enemy units, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the melee weapons used by friendly Beast of Chaos Braveheart units within 12 inches of this general. That's actually pretty good because +1 attack on some of those weapons, especially things like Bulgor, is... Oh, no, they're Brayherd. So, no, never mind. On Bestigor. +1 attack on Bestigor, though. Pretty decent.
That's all right. Yeah.
And then you've got Twist... Yeah, you got Twist Fray, Curse Beast, add a number to the current battle round to the casting rolls for this general. I quite like that. That's quite cute, but obviously won't never be taken. And you got Rotfray Plague Belt at the start of each. It doesn't even worth reading. And then
when you've got a commander bear that's like you take D6 mortal wounds, why the fuck would you take something where it's like you've got to be in combat and you have to roll a dice and then it's only D3?
Yeah. And then you've got the Slake Freya Reveler. If the general's on the battlefield at the start of the movement phase, add 3 inches to move characteristics of friendly Beast of Chaos units that start on normal moves within 6 inches. And that one, I think, is actually pretty legit.
Plus of a terrain feature.
Yeah,
of a terrain feature.
Until the end of that phase.
So that's
and not wholly. Not wholly within either.
That'll be just everybody on the board, virtually.
Yes, it will be. Well, Beast of Chaos units, yeah.
Yeah.
You just keep one model within 6 inches of terrain at all times for all units, and you are laughing. However, Bestial Cunning's not bad. I love that it's after deployment, so you're not locked into a unit. You don't choose a unit for it until after you've seen everything. So you can be like, I really need this unit to get in turn 1 or whatever you want it to be.
And it's also isn't it when you set up the unit on the movement phase, you can set up anyone on the battlefield more than 7 inches. So it's a deep strike, not an outflank.
Yes.
And then also because you do it at the end of your movement phase, if you wanted to, you could use the heroic action, pull a screen away, be 7 inches away, right, and be like, I'm here to fuck boys, like FYI.
Yeah.
So
if you got both in, you could pull something away, do D6 mortal wounds, and then drop.
Yeah. Then drop a unit that's 7 inches away with a +2 to charge, +1 from just dropping. Actually, no, you wouldn't get the +1
because they haven't outflanked.
Because they haven't done the outflank, or maybe you would.
I don't know if it matters at that point. Also, I'll be interested to see when we get to the War Scrolls if they're still as good at like running and charging and stuff.
I think you do get it because it says reserve unit, and effectively all this is giving them the ways they do it.
Yeah, good point.
It just says when they're set up on the battlefield. So I mean, it would be if you teleported them. Say you took a bridge.
Nice. So
they get +1 from that.
The rule just says add 1 to charge rolls for friendly Beast of Chaos units that are set up on the battlefield in the same turn. There's nothing about it. Yeah.
Oh, I've been sat on that bridge for so long, Nathan. Am I going to have to build it?
There you go.
But how about this?
I built it and sprayed it. But
how about this? Doom Bull, magic book in the boat, moves him, sets up. He's like 9 inches away, but with... Oh, no, he can move after.
Yeah.
Right? He moves after right? You've drawn a unit out.
+1.
Imagine the doom. There's like a sentinel stood there, right? And all he's seen is the wardens move away from him. And then he's seen a fucking giant bull in a boat wandering towards him like the god of death. Yeah.
Who gets out of the boat and is just like, yeah, cheers for that, Steve.
Then comes a bit closer. And then...
Right.
Okay, so that's those are the command traits.
Yeah.
Artifacts. So these are Beasts of Chaos heroes only, by the way. So then the Slithrak helm. So these are artifacts. After the bearer makes a charge move on a 2+, the strike last effect applies to the unit until the end of the turn. So within an inch. I think this is actually legit. I think this is legit.
Well, remember how Slaanesh used to kick face, and it was because they were putting strike last on everybody. That's
on a 2+.
There you go.
Yeah. I think
it's only one enemy unit, but usually that's all you need. Usually there's only one unit you really, if you're choosing who to 1-2 with, there's usually one you're worried about.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially good on like large targets, right? Like an Archeon. You charge them in, strike last on Archeon, and then everything in your army can go before you fight it, right? Right?
Yeah.
So I think that'll see a lot of play. You got the Brave Blast Trumpet. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase, you can say the bearer will sound the Brave Blast Trumpet, and basically on a 2-up, you can summon some gore, and on a 1, they come on the next turn, so you'll never take that. No trumpets in this army. The knowing
apart from
go on.
All the oh no, they all have drums. Carry on.
Isn't there a couple of Bray horns?
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, the best to go have a horn.
Yeah. And then you've got the the Knowing Eye. If you take the first turn in the current battle round, after players have received their starting command points, you receive 1 command point that can only be spent during that turn to allow the bearer to issue a command. And if the second turn in the current battle round, your hero can make a 6-inch move after receiving a command point, which is kind of like, okay, maybe do it on a wizard, so that you get like a little pre-game move with the wizard, so to cast a spell closer to the enemy.
I don't think you'll never see it. You've got so much versatility in heroic actions. I don't think, looking at the other options here, I don't think the Knowing Eye is going to see it.
Okay, fair enough. Then you've got the Axe of Morgort, which is pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Ward rolls cannot be made for wounds caused by attack made by that weapon. Pretty hot.
That you'll see.
That's nice.
Sure.
You can make your own version of what's-his-face with no pants.
Who?
That Slaanesh dude that doesn't got any pants on.
Oh, Sigvald.
Yeah.
He has pants on.
He's got assless chaps on.
Yeah, he's got no pants on.
Again, all chaps are assless.
Balls are dangling out.
Because all assless chaps are just trousers.
Okay, fair. Keep going.
Right.
Okay. Go on, Nathan. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so you can make your own version of that, lad.
Yeah, you could. You could. Yeah, you could. No ward saves for you. I think some of the and then you got the Bleating Gnarl Staff. At the end of movement phase, you can pick one objective or terrain feature within 6 inches of the bearer and roll a dice. On a 2+, each unit within 6 inches of that objective suffers D3 mortal wounds. This ability has no effect on Beast of Chaos units. This is actually, in my personal opinion, pretty legit if you combo it, obviously, with the Realm spell that currently exists at the minute, plus also maybe the heroic action for just a lot of mortal wounds in an area where someone's like, bro, this is rubbish. I hate this.
When I saw them onto an objective, go.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, I don't know if, compared to the others, if this is that good. And then when I did that, and I was like, holy shit, you can basically go onto an objective and then just basically play a dubstep ground party that goes like, blah, 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 until everything else is killed off it.
And also, it's not like once per battle. So it's just at the end of your each movement phase.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty short range, though, isn't it? It's 6 inches.
6 inches.
Yeah,
so you have to
terrain feature as well. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, objective or terrain feature. And remember how big a terrain feature is, and then it's within 6 inches of that objective or terrain feature, meaning that you've got the size of the terrain feature plus wholly within 6. It's a massive bubble.
Yeah.
I like this personally, but there we go. And then you got the Blacking Talisman of Chaos. Each time the bearer is affected by spell or prayer, 4+ ignore the effects or the spell or whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, I think you're going to see the blow stuff up thing, the Bleating Gnarl Staff. I think you might see some stuff done with the Knowing Eye, some cheeky little plays, which I think is fun. And I think Strike Last on a unit is hot stuff. The Slither Rack Helm. I think that's very good. Very good. Right, then on to Spell Lore, and it's just all wins again, in my opinion. All wins. You got Thunderscorn Wizard, so this is just your Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Again, well, I don't know if I've even said this before. Possibly one of the ugliest models in all of Warhammer.
When you see how beautiful, like the regular infantry ones that they released, like this is back in Warhammer Fantasy they released, they actually look really good. And then you see the one that's meant to be their heroic leader, who is at the same time like looks smaller than them and is meant to be better than them and is kind of minging. Like it's just, not great. However, he gets to cast some cool spells.
Very cool spells, in my personal opinion. Right, so the Lore of the Dark Storms. So you've got Hellstorm, which is a great spell. It's a range of 21 inches and cast on a 6. Half the move characteristic of that unit, half run and charge rolls for a unit, which is amazing. Halving the charge rolls is just such an effective way. So Hellstorm's incredible. 21-inch range as well is incredible, in my opinion. Nathan, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, that's a harsh one. There's a lot of armies are not going to like that spell being cast at them.
Nope.
Cast on a 6 as well. Is he just a 1-cast wizard?
Yeah, baby.
No buffs to casting.
I got to say right now, like I'm absolutely just loving this book. Like as where we are at the minute. So like I legit think it's like fun, right? So
yeah, these are all great.
James, is it tempting you so far?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't own a hideous Shaggoth because so ugly.
It's okay. I can 3D print you a much prettier one.
Okay.
Pretty one.
Much prettier.
But they were always pretty good, I think, because they were the only in the old book when I played this. It was the only hero with with double-digit wounds.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, but more than the like 5-up saver Beast Lord had.
Yeah, I agree. Then you got Fulgurous Blades, and I think this is actually insane. It's a spell that's casting value 6 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, pick 1 friendly Beast of Chaos unit wholly within range and visible to the caster. Until your next hero phase, subtract 1 from attacks characteristics of melee units that target that unit. So
nice.
That's awesome.
Super strong, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, to a minimum of 1.
Yeah, to a minimum of 1.
I was going to say, imagine just being like, enjoy your no attack.
Yeah. Thunderwave is just like an AoE damage spell, which is kind of okay. Maybe you'll see like an AoE like build with the item we talked about before, the Realm spell, some other stuff. But
it's only range 3 though, isn't it? So
yes, it is. So I'm skipping it if that's all right.
Yeah.
And then you got Furious Gale, which is cast on 6 and range of 18 until your next hero phase. Subtract 1 from the attack characteristic of missile weapons used by enemy units that are within range of the caster. And this is crazy good. So you basically could put a Shaggoth in a boat, let's say, so the Bringy Dingy, cast his spell, like get someone else to do the Bringy Dingy, move it forward, and then the enemy army's just got -1 to its shooting attacks, like to the number of attacks. So halving how much shooting. It's wicked, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like really good. And again, situationally important, but I think great.
Yeah.
Didn't the ogre cannon just get 2 cannonballs?
Yeah. It'll probably just get shot off the board, but like, oh no, it'll only get 1 cannonball.
Still.
It'll get 1 cannonball, yeah, right. And then you got Raging
just
Storm.
The other shot, won't it? The fucking machine gun shot.
Say that again, Nath.
It'll just use the other shot, that machine gun shot that it does, whatever that is. Loads of shots.
Oh yeah, when it does the grape shot.
Yeah.
Don't ruin my fun, Nath.
I mean, -1 still. I like Furious Gale. I think it's really good. But what's important here is, other than the Thunderwave, each one of those, you see a case use for it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And then you got Raging Storm, cast on at 8. If successfully cast, you can heal 1 wound allocated to each friendly Thunderscorn unit on the battlefield. In addition, each enemy unit on the battlefield suffers a mortal wound, which is kind of okay, but it's cast on at 8. I'm not really that interested.
I think, like, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because it's whole battlefield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, because you can't spread out wounds, it's not so good. Like, if you had Thunderscorn units and you could, like, wound all of them and then heal all of them, it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But whole battlefield's pretty fun.
It's very good. Right, so that's all the ones from the Shaggoth. I think great utility out of those, in my personal opinion. Just going to put that out there.
Yes. I mean, how many Shaggoths would you probably have in an army? Just the one?
Not a lot, because they're very expensive. Yeah. So probably.
So
like,
which one would you choose? That would be.
Hellstorm all day. That's the best.
Yeah,
that's the most.
I think that's
one.
the most. Yeah, useful one.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen in our conversation today, like, is that what I personally think about the book is that the book is really good and got loads of utility and has got a lot of play, but just. Yeah. The points are expensive, which is much better than everything being cheap but being useless, which is what you used to have with some armies, right? So, like, I think there's going to be a really fair conversation from a lot of players that they feel like their points have gone way too high on their models. I think that's super fair, but if you actually look. You've got a load of real good utility out of the army. So if the points do come down on the army's just going to get better as opposed to just cheaper, which is the worst version of an army, which is what Slaanesh is. Slaanesh is an unfunctional book with very expensive points, and they just kept dropping the points. You're like, well, your book isn't getting any better because it still doesn't function really well. So you end up in that position. So anyway, well, and then you'll see even more when you get to the Law of the Wild, because this is wicked. So you've got Vile Tide, which is cast on 6 and a range of 12 inches. Pick an enemy unit within range visible to the caster. Unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. It cannot receive commands until the end of the turn. No Battle Shock, no Inspiring Presence. Like, there's loads of good stuff there from that. Vicious Stranglethorns is a 5 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, pick one enemy within range visible to the caster. That enemy unit cannot make piling moves until the next hero phase. Also really useful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Primal Dominance is you pick a monster and it counts as 1 for holding an objective. So if Gargants ever accidentally get good again, you just auto win with Beta Chaos. Right?
Yeah.
So that's good. Tendrils of Atrophy is, in my opinion, pretty wild.
That's an old spell.
Yeah, and it's cast on a 7. It does something new now, James. You're going to really like this. It's cast on a 7 and a range of 12 inches. And if successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within range and visible to the caster. Add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack with a melee weapon that targets that unit until the next hero phase.
Gross.
Wicked. Absolutely wicked. So, like, that's because that's like, so imagine like someone's like, ha ha ha, I have Archeon. You're like, cool, I've got a dickhead Beast Lord. You strike last on a 2+, and everything is +1 damage, right? Let's go. Like,
have a nice day.
There's this spell, you see it occasionally, and there's 2 different versions of it. One version is target your unit, and every model in that unit gets +1 damage or whatnot. And then there's the other version, which is target an enemy unit, and everyone gets +1 damage against them. And I prefer this version. Because your unit, like when you target your unit, it lends itself to being bigger 1 alpha strike unit, like a big unit of Chaos Chosen or Knights or something.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like you get to pick out that very key piece that is going to be hard to kill and just push it off the table in 1 turn.
It's also like it's short range, super fair. Like it's in the hero phase, super fair, right? Like, although Portals does exist, so we can always talk about that, which I think is super fun. But like, it makes Gore be damaged too. Like what?
Well, they could already be damaged too.
But remember, we're also in an edition where you can use your Galician champion, whatever it is, your Galley Vet to then activate and fight in the hero phase, and then activate his bodyguard and fight in the hero phase as well. So you could potentially get like 2 extra activations on top of your combat phase against the unit that has Tendrils of Atrophy on it.
Yeah. It's legit, in my opinion. Like, it's legit, right? But yeah, so So yes, there's some
Oh,
ordering
yeah,
in the hero phase. Thanks.
Sorry, there's ordering
Jeremy.
there. I'm an idiot. Yep, never mind.
You're not an idiot. No, it's just there's.
I got excited.
The new stuff. I was doing the stat center today, and it feels like this is just a feeling. It feels like the game over the next 6 months or so is going to be like you're a 1-drop, yeah, no fucking around, or you're like doing wildly intricate stuff with you've got a Galician veterans. Battalion because you want the extra range. You've got a Galician champion unit because you're going to try and do a fun combo like you just talked about, Dan, with all of that. So there's a lot of that, and I think this army feels less like a 1-drop and more like I want to do a bunch of stuff. But we'll see.
And this army won't worry about not being a 1-drop because they can just drop everything off the table turn 1 and then be like, go, have a great turn 1.
Yeah. So you can probably use a lot of utility here. So that's kind of how I'm feeling. Looking at some of the lists that I read through today. Then you've got Wild Rampage, which is cast on 7, range 12. Pick a friendly Beast Chaos unit holding the range visible to the caster to next hero phase. The unmodified hit roll for an attack made by a melee weapon that is a 6 scores 2 hits. So you can get real tasty. A big unit of Bulgor, get +1 damage on the enemy unit, exploding 6s, although Bulgors are a bad example because they actually don't have a lot of attacks, but that's a side note. Probably you want something like Zangor because they go to Zangor damage 2. You'll end up with just a unit of 10 Zangors, 50 attacks. So you'll have quite a lot of explodes and they're all damage 2, which is pretty great.
Or even things with things on discs too, because then you're getting the +1 damage for their attack and the disc attack.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, it's all attacks, all melee weapons. Hold on. Add on damage inflicted by each successful attack made by a melee weapon that targets, doesn't say excluding mounts, right?
Yep. So
is a disc a mount, though?
So Enlightened, basically, you're Enlightened big stocks as well.
Yeah, Enlightened are really good, as has been pointed out. As Jacob is saying in the chat, 'cause I know he's a huge fan of it. Yeah, Slangor are going to be very good as well. I agree with Jeremy's assessment. This is the first book in a while where everything in it can be significantly scary in the later game turns. Problem is staying alive till then, which is also true as well. But if you're looking through a spell lore, we've had a lot of spell lores that are very trash. And this is just a legit, okay, I can see why I would do that. I can see why I could do that. And then you've got Titanic Fury. Is a spell that has a casting value 6. Pick a friendly Beast of Chaos monster within range, which is 12 inches. Until your next hero phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of that monster's melee weapons. So kind of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I having had a brief look through the book, realistically, it's your Gorgon, and I don't think you're going to...
Don't ruin the Gorgon.
I'm not ruining it.
Don't ruin it. I haven't got there yet.
I actually don't. No. Hear me out. I don't mind the Gorgon. I'm just saying, with such banger spells in other areas, I don't think you're going to waste a spell on making one Gorgon better by 1 attack to each profile.
Wow. We'll see
That's
how
what I'm
everyone
saying.
feels in the chat. Okay. Right. Okay. So combo that on the Chimera. Look, the chat. There's some real furry boys in the chat. So
I don't want people talking about the Chimera either.
Why?
Because the Games Workshop one, the official one, is hideous. So unless you got a third-party one, don't bring the Chimera here.
No conversation about the Chimera for you.
You don't like the old school Chimera from ancient world that was?
Yeah, it's the same model. It's bad.
Yeah.
I wanted one in my old list to summon for lols, and I looked at it and was like, I am not paying money for that.
Right, let's talk about the Fraction terrain piece, because you get this for free, right?
Best terrain piece they've ever made for faction?
It is the best terrain piece they've made for any faction, I would say. I would say the Loon Shrine is also very excellent, because it literally has a little dank hold that you can go in. And I've always wanted I've wanted someone to base theirs and put just a sponge or something in there, and then they moisten it, and then when they start the game, they go, "Oh, before we start, can you just put your finger in my dank hold?" And someone puts their finger in it, it's just a bit moist, but no one's done that yet. Cowards is what I say to you, cowards. But this is a good one because it cooks little baby goats, which is fun.
And mine lights up.
Yours does light up. I think a lot of people's lights up. I think it's a thing. People like.
It should be.
Yeah.
You can have a goat barbecue. You should make it light up.
Right, so there's a conversation about setting it up, but that doesn't really matter. It's impassable, and then what does it do? From the start of the second battle round, improve the rend characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly beasts of chaos on the battlefield by 1. And from the start of the fourth battle round, improve the rend characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly beasts of chaos by 2. Okay? So everything we're about to read when we talk about War Scrolls is going to be +1 rend. Straight away. From turn 2. Okay, but from turn 4, they're going to be +2 rend. So that's the thing to remember.
I know they lost summoning, but I know that there'll be a discussion around it. I think the Herdstone got significantly more usable. Because as long as you stop your opponent from smashing it down, you just get like +1 rend army wide. Why? Because
it's a very effective one compared to some of the others that exist in the game. Like,
but even remember the old one, it had a range that expanded. Now it's just the board. You're like, okay, cool. You don't need to think.
It got plus rend in the White Dwarf update, though, right?
The White Dwarf the rend was from.
Yeah, and it also used to be near it to get summoning. So instead, like, you don't no longer have to babysit it. You're not having to stop your opponent trying to run at it. Instead, as everyone in the chat is saying, just bang it in a corner. Just put it in a corner. Yeah, and just be like, that's there. Go near it if you want to go near it. Like, but
but if you do smash it, then you turn the rend off. So they do still have to protect it.
Yeah. There's been a change as well. It used to be turns 1 and 3, now it's turns 2 and 4. So like there's a little bit of a change maybe in tempo of the army, because turn 1, it's not like that means it's less likely to be an alpha list. But anyway.
But turn 1 you're just not on their board.
Yes.
Well, you're just having a nice time in the wood.
You do have to do something, but you can give up like one shaman. Pop in on an objective, what is the battle tactic that requires a Galician champion to be on an objective wholly outside your territory? Because that's the turn 1.
The super cunning one.
Yeah, the super cunning one. Yeah. That's the turn 1.
So turn 1, all you do is you'll command, if they've got something on the spot, you'll command pull them off of the thing and then pop your bloke on it. That'll be it.
Yeah, cunning maneuver. Thank you. It's cunning maneuver. So you can do that a lot. Right, okay, let's talk about the great phrase, Bestial Might. At the end of the battle shot phase, you can return D3 plus 3 slain models to each friendly all herd, gore herd, all herd ungors, and all herd ungor raiders on the battlefield. D3 plus 3.
Nice.
James is going to love that because James now is going, how many of those can I put on the board and return D3s?
I think at one point I wrote a list that was, I think I have 90 or 100 Bestigor.
Okay.
And I think the same in Gore.
Yeah. Cool. So you're going to be happy. Okay. But
at least it's...
Go on, Dan.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, at least it's slain models, so you can't go over your starting unit size.
Can you bring back fled models? Yeah. So fleeing models count as slain. So yes. So that's really important note. All herd is so good. It is very good. D3 plus 3 slain models. Okay. Then you've got Dark Walkers. At the end of your movement phase, you can pick a friendly Dark Walkers Gore Herd, Dark Walkers Ungors, or Dark Walkers Ungor Raiders unit that's wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield edge and say that they will slink into the shadows. And if you do so, remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield edge and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Oh. So now this is going to be for just some 5-head, like big brain, 4 heads the size of a ski slope level human beings. It's kind of useful and then terrible all at the same time.
Yeah, they used to do that, I think, in the book.
But I don't know.
It's like pain, because I used to play this one for the other rules, but it's like painful hard because normally like you want to hit stuff with your hitty stuff, and then you're like, well, I can teleport these 10 Ungor off, but they have to come back next turn still.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's
and teleport straight away, didn't they?
Yeah, it's just straight away.
Oh, yeah. And maybe that's a bit better. But
see, I actually see it as useful because remember, if they're set up, not set up from reserve, I'm pretty sure the rule is just if they're set up in that turn, they get +1 to charge.
Yeah.
So let's say you had
no.
So you're that is set up on the battlefield in the same turn. The rule doesn't specify it has to be from reserve. So if you use that, you get +1 to charge plus your horn. If you've just got a unit that for the entire game sits on your back line within 9 inches of your board edge, just for zoning out enemy summoning, the second they leave a gap in their back line, you can teleport over and have pretty good odds of getting the charge.
Yeah.
So this is big forehead. Sorry, whoever that was, Nath. Because actually you could, in your hero phase, pull someone off an objective, then just walk off the board, walk onto an objective.
Yes.
And it is at the end of your movement phase. So it doesn't matter if you've moved. So if you're not within 9, you just run to the edge of the board.
Yeah,
your
true.
nearest board edge, and then just teleport. And then teleport.
Yeah. As Desert Sketch points out in the chat, it doesn't say you need to be 3 inches away, so you can use this to get out of combat.
I think this is one of those situations, though, where you have to really understand a board state, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's all I'm going to say. Like, I think that sounds brilliant when you're mathing it out in your head and you look at the board and you're like, I'm not sure how to utilize that. So, like,
every ounce of that sounds like the jank that would make me play.
Yeah, okay. Oh, excellent. All right, love
Where
that.
I'd lose 4 games, and then in my last game, I'd be like, I move here, I move you, my Tengor, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then that person hates me forever, but, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds funny.
Yeah, it does sound funny. And also, like Jacob said in the chat, you've got to be a big brain to use it. And I love that. I love that they've got the tools. Gav Spawn, gibbering congregations. The Gav Spawn assemble congregations of loathsome Morgite Chaos Spawn. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can include a gibbering congregation in your army. Ooh. So what is a gibbering congregation? Well, it's actually this show.
Oh wow, we got work to do then, have we? What is this?
I hope no one plays this one, or we're going to be busy.
So Dan, have you been through this?
I haven't seen this, no.
Okay, so it's a collection of Spawn, so we'll get that in a bit, right?
Of course.
So we'll get to that. We'll go through the sub-factions very quickly. We'll come back. But you're allowed to have a gibbering congregation in your army.
And I love going from the big brain to this is the opposite of big brain. This is the Quake Fray is your smooth brain.
Oh, what? The Quake Fray? Yeah, this is smooth brain all day.
Also,
right?
Spawn bad.
Yeah.
No, Spawn good.
What?
So if we're talking about where you can have the gibbering congregation, Spawn good. Okay,
okay. We'll come back to that.
Don't worry, the chat are on it. Yeah, Spawn big. It's what we're going to say.
Spawn good Spawn.
What's exciting is they've been like new Beast Lord model. You're like, okay, how is he? He's like, pretty shit. Right? You're like, okay, pretty great. A load of the other kits are really old, and you're like, a lot of the kits are very old, but of all of them, the shittest one is easily the Spawn. So, Salamander number 2. Here we come, Spawn, right? They love selling shit old kits. They fucking love selling shit old kits.
I have to say, though, and this will get me shot too, quite like the Spawn kit, because it's a lot of bits. You can have like a nice
little... You cannot like the modern Spawn kit. No way. I refuse. Why? Do you actually?
I quite like there's a lot of bits, isn't there? Like, it doesn't look good. It never looks good, which is why I have lots of alternatives. But when you have that kit, you're like, this is a lot of bits. That's how they used to make kits.
All right. If I had the time, I would 100% do a channel vote because it is it doesn't matter. Right. Okay.
Well, I mean, is the Spawn supposed to look good? I mean,
it's a great point, Nathan.
Name.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not meant to look good, I guess. But it could look better at looking shit, I guess.
Yeah, it could look shitter better.
Yeah. Diary in the chat said, yeah, you get a lot of bits, James. A lot of shit bits.
What do I have? Oh, I've got the Kill Team Nurgle fat things. That's what mine were.
They're cool. Yeah.
What is the kit that you could use as a Spawn kit instead of the Spawn kit from GW? Like, if you're going just GW. I'm trying to think.
Any corn kit, because they're all hideous.
Dan, you're going to go, right?
I do. I'm afraid I'm going to go throw some blood at people. It's not like a protest thing. I'm going to go give some blood. Yeah, new job.
Dane. Yeah, get Stranger Things out. We're all waiting.
This is it's basically I'm just donating all different parts of myself.
Okay, loads of love to Dan in the chat, please. Thanks, Dan.
See you later. Okay. See you, beautiful people, especially Jacob Berry.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. So we'll move on. So the last one, Quake Fray. Friendly Quake Fray Cygor units gain the Priest keyword. So a Cygor
Nice.
that's a priest, James, come on. In addition...
Before we get there,
Yeah.
you've read the War Scrolls.
Yeah.
Is the Cygor any better?
Yes.
Your face says yes, but not enough.
What?
Not
What more
enough.
can I say? It has got better.
It wasn't a hard road.
It was literally a potato before. So, like, okay. Right.
Now a sweet potato.
Yeah, okay. In addition, friendly quick phrase Cygor priests know the following prayer in addition to other prayers. Not forgetting that if you know the curse prayer, any 6s to hit do a mortal wound. And you can generate a lot of dice in this army. So you can be like Cygor, curse a unit, launch in some lads, mortal wounds for days. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Tasty.
Earth Shatter is a prayer that has an answer of 3 and a range of 12. Pick one objective within range and visible to the character. Each unit within 6 inches of that objective suffers D3 mortal wounds. And until your next hero phase, when determining the number of models in units that are considered that objective, the number must be halved. Doesn't work on Beast of Chaos. So now we've got a really interesting list where we're taking a prayer with a Cygor, we're picking an objective, and we're going to blow it up. We're taking the artifact, and we're going to blow it up. And then there's the other thing we can do, and we're going to blow it up. So that's 3 blow-ups that we can do near objectives, right? Which is just so good, right? Oh, and sorry, also use the Realm spell. So
Yeah, the realm spell.
yeah, no, there's another one as well, right in here. So I think this is including the Realm spell. I think we're up to 4. I think we're up to 5, right?
Are we playing a game where we stop our opponent wanting to stand on objectives?
Yes, right, because that's quite an interesting new list archetype, right? Because normally you love standing on objectives, and before Nathan fucking tells me that his gits are just going to stand at 9 inches, right?
Oh, I tell you, you'll find out the hard way.
Thank you.
Wait, can Gits cap at 9 inches?
Oh yeah, you should listen to last week's show,
Okay.
James. They're pointed
Yeah.
and written.
Have you
rules
started
are-
making the Gits rings, please? We need bigger rings for Gits. Gits have
9-inch
got bigger
rings.
rings.
No,
Imagine how big they'd be.
Just the whole board.
very big. Anyway, so that's the Quake Fray, right? So the Quake Fray, and you can have Cygor who are priests, right? We're not going to talk about the Grand Strategy battle tactics because whatever, right? Let's start talking about some units, shall we, James?
Yeah.
Nathan, you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The tribes were quite good, though. They were good.
Yeah, I thought they were good. Did you have a favorite?
Yeah. Oh, the Quake Cray seems interesting. I think the Dark Walker one is mad, but I'd have to have a look at the scenario maps again to see how many of the objectives are you can contest 9 away from a board edge.
So Nathan can't play Dark Fray
Uh,
because that wasn't
so-
big brain enough. You had to go all in right at the time. The Dark
Yeah.
Fray don't want you unless you choose the Dark Fray immediately.
Yeah, you immediately choose the Dark, otherwise you're out being a Quake Fray.
Well, the
smooth
Dark
brain.
doesn't choose you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So we've got a Beast Lord. Okay, so this is like just your standard Beast Lord. 6 wounds with a 4-up save is actually quite a nice profile. 5 attacks, 3 threes, rend 1 damage 2. They get a special thing where they fight heroes, which is if this unit is within 3 inches of an enemy hero, add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons by friendly Beasts of Chaos units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Now, again, a little bit situational unless you've got a big Archeon on the board or a Nagash or an Alariel or something, right? And then you've given them the artifact, so they're striking last. So charge this bad boy in. They strike last. +1 to hit and wound for the hit rolls and wound rolls for the other guys that you've charged in with them is crazy. Added +1 damage against that unit. Like, fantastic stuff, right? Like, fantastic stuff. So, again, situational, but incredible shit, in my personal opinion.
Also, 2 damage now.
Yeah, 2 damage. And does mortals on 6s to hit.
It was time.
Which have got, like, venom-encrusted weapons, right? And then you've got Call to Battle. In the combat phase, you can pick this unit to fight for the first time in the phase. You can pick a friendly Bray Herd unit to fight at the same time. If this unit is not, if the unit and the other Brayhawk unit can fight one after the other in the correct order of your choice. So you've basically got what other heroes have, which conjuncts quite well. He's a Nathan. Do you know how many points this bad boy is?
I don't know.
Base it on the Gits book. What would this cost in Gits?
So what he's probably about similar to a loon boss, but he's obviously more chunky, so probably about 90 to 100, something like that.
Okay, perfect. He's 145 points.
Wow.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. All right. So then we've got the Great Bray Shaman. So this is our wizard. Well, we do have other wizards, but this is the wizard in the army.
The best wizard.
Yeah. 5 wounds, 5 up armor save, so a little bit unsurvivable. Doesn't have a ward save, but this is with a Great Bray Shaman, you could add 6 inches to the range of heroic action. So you keep this bad boy off board. You're going to be doing those abilities from 18 inches away.
Nice.
Which is pretty amazing. And then their spell is Devolve. Is a spell that has a casting value of 7 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, pick an enemy with a range visible to the caster. Till your next hero phase, you roll 3d6 before that unit makes a normal move, runs or retreats, or makes a charge move. And if the roll is greater than the unit's bravery characteristic, the maximum distance of that move is halved. So you've got kind of another one of the spells that stops.
Yeah, the file tide thing, was it?
Yeah. Hailstorm. Hailstorm.
Hailstorm. Oh, yeah.
So, like, pretty amazing, the Great Bray Shaman. It's only a 1-cast wizard, 5 wounds with a 5-up save. James, you don't know the points yet, or have you looked at the points?
I have the point opened because I thought you hadn't looked at the points.
I haven't looked at the points, so I'm going to guess. He's a wizard, which is normally 100 points. It feels like this book is quite expensive, so I'm going to go for 140.
No way. He's got to be like 100 points, because...
compare him to a Gits wizard, Nathan. For me, compare him to a Gits wizard.
100 points.
Okay.
Nathan.
Again, he's slightly chunkier, but other than that, he's about the same utility as some of them, which like 90. So
what I don't understand,
or 110
after the Beast Lord, is Nathan wins.
Oh, okay.
This guy is 95 points.
Fuck 95. Off.
Good.
There's going to be loads of these off the board.
I have 6 of them.
Oh my god, that's great value.
The only sad thing is, because I know the 6-inch to rituals firm, but I used to like to have a little shaman in the middle of a Bestigor thing because they used to run 3 inches further. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, James, you could definitely probably play all 6 of them legitimately because the spell
95 is cheap
and the spell law's really, really good. Like legitimately, like I didn't know that they were that cheap. I thought Beast of Chaos players were complaining everything was expensive. Interesting.
I think the other problem with the Beast of Chaos book, and people might shoot me for this, so sorry, Charlie, especially. But like, I think lots of it had reduced in price. Then they got that White Dwarf thing that made it really good.
Yeah.
But like having a skim, some of it's gone up substantially more than other bits, I think.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because some of it was wildly cheap. So
yeah.
All right, so then we got Gore. Battle line, Gore lads. Yeah.
Good
so
lads.
These are just your regular lads. 1 wound, 5-up save. These are your battle line. Now, most of the Bray herd, so like the goats versus the cows, have the same kind of like stuff. So we won't go through it all the time. Specifically, they have a 5-up rally on their banner, and their musician adds 1 to run and charge rolls for them. So that's the kind of
because it used to be run and charge.
Yeah, so now it's not quite as good, but you do have a 5-up rally now, which is pretty hype.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like that's legit in my opinion. And so then these guys, you basically James, can you take 30 of these? They come in 10s or 20s. You're looking at the points. So
sorry, I just saw the last ability on their war scroll.
Well, I'll read that out while you're looking. Go on.
They are in 10s.
They're in 10s, okay. And at the end of your charge phase, if this unit made a charge move in the same turn, you pick 1 enemy unit within an inch, and until of this unit that has fewer models than this unit, and on a 3+, the strike last effect applies. So if you've got 10 dudes going into 6 Varangard on a 3+ strike last.
Right? Hilarious.
Like very good.
And if they got shields, they come with a characteristic of a 4-up instead of a 5-up.
Sorry, say that again.
If they got shields, they have a 4-up save instead of a 5-up.
Yeah,
save.
legit. Like if they take the shields, they end up with a 4-up save characteristic, which is wicked. Like that's fantastic.
And because it's characteristic, you could then use all-out defense and make them a 3-up.
And Mystic Shield, so you can make them a 3-up save ignoring Rend 1. Put them in cover, 3-up save ignoring Rend 2.
What do they get for? Oh, an extra attack.
Yeah,
I think mine might need shields if I use them.
Yeah, you'll need shields, right? Shields is so good, like insane. Thank you to Maurizio Alizabazalzo for resubscribing, and John for resubscribing in the chat. So Gore, and then in combat they're obviously terrible. You get 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, no Rend damage 1, but in turn 2 they'll obviously be Rend 1, and then in turn 4 they'll be Rend 2. So I'm going to go these Gore are probably 100 points for 10. That's my guess. What do you think, Nate?
So 10 of them. Movement 6, 4-up save. Yeah, about 100 points. 90 to 100 points.
Oh, and apparently they've gone up. There used to be 1 attack 4s and 4s. It's now 2 attacks 4s and 3s.
And paired weapons, I think, gave them +1 to hit.
Well, yeah, you can if you want to go paired weapons. You can get 3 attacks out of these guys. And if we already know if we're fighting with a Beast Lord and we're fighting into Archeon, let's say, or just a character nearby, then these guys are going to be 3 attacks,
3s and
2s. And in turn 2, Rend 1. Like, legit. Like, not bad.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is painful. This chat, like, I might just shut the chat.
Why? They're breaking your heart.
There's someone being like, Gores are one of the best glow up, and I'm like, I got like 100 of these.
James loves Beast of Chaos. Chat, you might get James back into Age of Sigmar if this goes right.
Like, as this chat goes, I'm like, I think I've got 90 painted. I used to put these on the fire.
All right, so I'm going to say that they're 100 and 110 is what I'm going for these. Nathan, what about you?
90 to 100.
Interesting. James?
They're 110 points.
Dabs for the dab god.
I think, like, as I like, it's weird, like, having the points and listening to you chat about it and having not played in a while. But, like, as you're going through, and I was like, a strike last on, like, a unit
Actually,
that's just
that's a great ability.
fodder unit. Because it also doesn't say once. So, like, Tengor, charge stuff. Like, you could make everything fight last.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. That's actually
on a unit that costs 110 points.
Yeah, that's decent. The thing is, though, is we don't know yet if there's a unit that backs that up, if that makes sense. Because the reason you want the strike last thing to happen is so that either multiple units can hit a unit, or so that, like, your big hammer unit can smash something, and then you've got your other big hammer unit that doesn't get hit first.
But, like, playing a weird hop off the board, hop on the board game to try and, like, keep baiting people with Dark Walkers. So, like, feeding them stuff and playing for the late turns where you've just got mince lads. Because 3 attacks on a 4/3 -2 is not bad. Maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, all out attack. It's going to be 3s and 3s. It's going to be great.
I legit am liking this book so far. Like, there's some stuff in here. Right, Bestigor. Now, I think they've gone up a wound. So, move 6.
Oh, yes.
2
lads.
The lads. 2 wounds each on a 4-up armor save. They've got rally on a 5-up. Obviously, +1 to run, +1 to charge. 2 attacks each, 3 3s, Rend 1, damage 1, which in turn 2 will be Rend 2. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons while it's within 3 inches of enemy units that receive the all-out defense command. So if you all-out defense, then
3 attacks each.
3 attacks each. And then subtract 1 from the wound rolls for attacks that target this unit made by shooting. With a missile weapon by an enemy unit that received the Unleash Hell command. Oh, why couldn't I just have had it for everything? That's wank. Okay. All right. So there's not actually a lot of output there.
Gores are better.
They're like Mortek Guard, kind of, but they've got 2 wounds.
2 attacks, 3s and 3s. So it could be 2s and 3s quite easily, or it could be 2s and 2s. With some Beast Lords running around.
There's
And
only
it
one
will
way to
be-
get +1 damage so far.
And it will be rend 2 from turn 2 onwards, and then rend 3 eventually.
I'm sorry, James, I'm going to break your heart, but I'm not rating these. I think that
I think the gores are better.
I think I'm going to put these in for. I think I'm going to put these at 10 for 140 points, and even then, I wouldn't take them. Is how I feel.
They've got the 5 up rally. I think they're all right. I think as a hitting unit, like in conjunction with the cores, it's a weird mix though, isn't it? But that strike last ability on the core is so good.
So good. So
But
good.
these come with that extra pip of rend, which is
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And in turn 2, they'll be rend 2. Like maybe you use them in a wave, and these go like as the second unit. Go on, James. How much are they?
You don't want to know.
120.
Nathan says 120. There is 20 wounds though.
Okay, what are you saying, Rob?
Oh, yeah, they are 20 wounds for 10, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna be 180.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
180 sounds right. Yeah,
Maybe
go on.
even 200 somewhere there.
Okay, so you could have 10 best of gore
Yeah.
or 20 gore
Wait, they're 220 points.
and 20 points for 10.
Fucking no way. Absolutely no way am I taking that for 220 points. Get in the bin. Thank you. Thank you. No bin. So now worst to go. Apologise to those guys. Well, the first unit was so good. Okay. All right. I don't even think they would have to go down to 180, and I don't want to take them. I don't know. They're low bravery as well, right? So like bravery 7 actually is quite nice. That's fine. That's sad for.
What was the bravery on the gore?
Not high.
6.
6.
Okay.
Well, that sounds high to me.
It's not that bad.
That's high.
Yeah. As a demons player, it doesn't sound high. Let me tell you. Right. So we've got Ungor. They move 7 inches. Okay. They've got a short spear,
they're
which is
fast, aren't they?
They're fast, yeah. That's an 8-inch range. Again, they've got the rally. Again, they've got the +1 to charge and run. And then they've got in the combat phase when you pick this unit, to fight, you can say that it will evade the enemy. And if you do so, the unit retreats instead of fighting. And that is.
Oh my god, they're skinks!
They're fucking old school skinks. That is stonks to the moon. Now, don't forget, you used to be able to retreat with the run roll as well. So it's just going to be a 7. But that is amazing tech.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Because 7, they are quite quick as well. So they can run into somebody and then bounce around them almost. Or
go cap an objective.
Or you could go off the board, Dark Walkers, come on the board, charge with +1, maybe +2 if they've got a horn.
+2 you would come on. They've got
+2 with a horn.
Yeah.
And then bounce.
Oh my god. Thank you to Kitsune Events for resubscribing. Or you could take the +3-inch move command trait, so you can be moving 10 inches. But I like your version, James, where you're like charging, bouncing.
I just think so you walk off. So movement phase, you run to an edge. They're not watching. You run to an edge. You bounce off. You bounce on. 7 inches, was it? 6 inches? 9 inches? Bounce on? 9 inches?
9 on.
So a bounce 9 on, a charge into someone, a bounce out. So in a turn, I could move. So let's say
anywhere.
They moved 10 to the board edge. Then I moved 9 on, so 19 inches. Then I charge someone. So let's say a nice 7 as an average. So what's that? 26 inches. Then I bounce another 7. 33 inches.
Yeah.
You get your +1 for your +2.
Yeah, well, all of that.
Because you'd have to make a 9-inch charge as well, yeah. So
so actually you're rewarded for even going even further. Okay, I hate this. This is actually very cool. There's going to be some 5-brain player who's just charging Ungor around like a dickhead holding objectives, and I'm going to hate it. I love these. I hope these are cheap because they've only got 5 up armor save. So I'm going to go for...
Units of 10, are they again?
Units of 10 on a bravery of 5, Nathan. What are you thinking?
Yeah, they're going to be...
90 points?
80 points? 80 to 90 points. Similar to Hobgrots?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So where are we at?
I'm going to go 90. They're better than Hobgrots, aren't they?
No. So. Sorry, what were your points?
I'm with Nathan. I think 90 to 100.
Okay, Nathan.
90.
Okay, so you're taking 100, Rob, or you gonna join
90,
Nathan?
90. I'm going Nathan.
Well, you're both more expensive than an Ungor.
What?
At 80 points.
Nice. Value Town. All right.
But I also think probably better in Dark Walkers where you bounce. But someone can prove me wrong.
Maybe. All right.
Well, I mean, if you go with the other one, you got your 5-up rally, and then you're also returning D3 plus 3.
Yeah,
True.
that's great.
That one's also funny. Oh, no,
and when do you return D3 plus 3? In your hero phase? When do you return D3
Yes, I believe
plus 3?
so.
Hold on. At the end of the battle shock phase, you can return D3 plus 3.
Oh, after battle shock.
LOL! And they just be like, oh yeah, I think I hold this objective. You'd be like, no, dickhead. Hold on.
There's 6 more.
Do you know what's
Let
even
me just add
funnier?
6 to this. What?
What's even funnier is if they were like, right, there's 3 left, I charge them, and you're like, we bounce.
Oh, wait,
And
hold
then
on.
you get D3 plus 3 back.
Wait, it's at the end of the battle shock phase. It's each battle shock phase. So
Yeah.
it's 6. Oh, wow. Wow. Woo! They're going to print me up some fucking goats. Let's go. All right. Okay, this is fun. All right, Ungor Raiders. Little fellas with bows, move 7 inches, shoot 12. So 19 inches effective range. 2 attacks each, 4s and 4s. They've got rally on a 5. 1 in every 10 models can be a little tutor, which means can run and still shoot in the turn. Whoa. And then you've got hidden volley. Once per battle, this is the thing that we all know about. From the battlefield edge, you can shoot this unit from the battlefield edge. You pick a point and shoot the closest enemy unit, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's funny.
Do you not know that?
No.
Yeah, so from the
that's
board edge, you can fire from the board edge. It's got to be the closest enemy unit. But obviously, you could always just like lure a unit in with the
command ability.
with the heroic
The blood
action.
taunt.
Yeah,
The blood taunt.
yeah. So taunt them in, and then Ungor Raider their ass. So Nathan, they've got.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 2 shots, 4s and 4s. It's like.
Well, it's not. It's 20 shots, 4s and 4s, because there's 10 of them.
Yeah, I guess like you pull somebody away from Lookout Sir, or from you pull them away from like a Galician champion, pull them away from being protected by their bodyguard unit. And then
Exactly.
just Fucking.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
So they're off the board edge,
Yes, boss.
but they have a champion.
And don't forget, sorry, this happens once about the starting movement phase. Then you deploy them, and then they shoot again.
Okay, so it
it's
happens
like a
in
double-
the movement phase.
So it's like a double shoot. So it start at the
So I
movement phase, and then you put
couldn't
them on.
all out attack them.
No,
Was where I was
but
going.
you can all out attack them in the next shooting phase,
Yeah.
which they'll be in.
So 10 would get 40 shots.
Yeah. Right.
Hilarious. And they get rend on this, or they only get rend on melee weapons?
They only get rend on. Oh wait, I think they only get rend on melee weapons. Right.
Shall I check?
It's on the Herdstone. Yeah.
I
do
will
it,
check. Yeah, only melee.
Only melee. Yeah.
So
I mean,
no
if
rend.
you got that Cygor priest fella close enough, he could curse some unit, and then there'd
Fuck
be
yeah.
loads of mortal wounds flying around, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
But
Hilarious.
it's getting that guy close enough to.
Purple Sun.
If
Something?
someone only plays Ungors, they're my kind of guy.
Yeah, this is actually hilarious fun. Yeah, Lumineth hate this trick. That's actually true because you've only got 5 upset. Oh, they're going to use Eighth of Quartz. Oh, they're in Shining Company. They might as well to hit. Never mind. They're fine. They're still perfect in every way. Okay, so what do we think for this unit? So if I had a unit of 60, sorry, they come in 10s. So if I have a unit of 30, I'm going to do 60 shots off board. And then I'm going to move on board and I'm going to do another 60 shots. So 120 shots, which is 4s and 4s. So I'm going to give my opponent 30 wound dice to save. So like even on a 3-up, armor save, they're going to take 10 damage.
10.
Right? Which is a thing, I guess. I don't know, quite interesting. What Nathan, how many points do you think these are? 4, 10, 6-up armor save.
Those other lads were 80, were they?
Yeah.
So I think these
Yes.
are going to be Tierra. I'm going to say 95.
They don't do 5s anymore, I don't think.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
The
We had a
Gits book
5
was
already.
full of 5s.
Oh my god, that's
and
gonna,
so was the Beast book.
that's going to get FAQ'd. I'm going to say 110.
Oh. Roberta, you're right on the money. Oh, no, you're not.
Oh.
They're 115.
Oh, the 5 points got me. Okay. Right, okay. Next up, we're going to go into
Fair
Doom Ball. So we got 8 wounds on a 4-up armor save. So this is the character, the Doom Ball. He's got a Slaughterer's Axe, which is 3 attacks, 3, so he's rend 1, damage 3. Rend 1's going to be a bit painful, but obviously turn 2, it's going to be damage. It's going to be rend 2.
Rend 2, yeah.
And then he's got 2 Horn attacks, which are damage 2. If you charge on a 2+, you do D3 mortal wounds. You've got Blood Greed. If you roll any 6s to hit, then you cause a number of mortal wounds equal to the weapon's damage. So that'll be 3. But you've only got 3 attacks, but still that's good. And you've got Slaughterer's Call. You can use command ability. At the start of the combat phase, this unit must issue the command, and the unit that receives the command must be a friendly Warherd unit, within 12 inches of the enemy unit, and more than 3 inches from all enemy units. If you do so, you must attempt to charge with this unit.
What? That's great.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
So he can do impact hits.
Yeah.
So you could give him the Tuskhelm trait as well, the Tuskhelm item as well. So he could do loads of impact hits. Run in and just delete some poor little wounded thing, and then charge again. But now in the combat phase, and then you'll be charging into something else. Yeah.
That's
nice.
Interesting. But also, you can use command ability at the start of the combat phase, not a friendly combat phase.
Oh, yeah. So this is like the Iron Sun's ability as well. You can countercharge.
Yeah, you can countercharge with this guy.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Give him the 2+ fight last artifact, though. Right? So charging your opponent's turn is mega stonks. I agree. Right? And command ability at the start of the combat phase. So charging there, make someone strike last after they've charged you. It's pretty interesting. And also this plus Stubborn and the Rhinox. That's quite interesting. And the Galician command. So count as 10 on an objective. Your opponent charges you. You charge in, make them fight last. And you'll be like, also, I hold the objective now. Sucks to suck. That's pretty cool. All right. I love that. The only thing I don't like is how homoerotic the Bulgors are. Whenever I look at them, I think, oh, man, I love muscly men. That's what I always think. I'm like, let's oil them up. They look like they
do that thing where we inject oil into them.
Yeah. They just get me questioning all of my feelings, and I don't mind that. Like, I like it. It makes me feel like maybe there's more of a journey for me to take in the future, which is sexy. And then you got Bulgor, who've got 4 wounds each. It does remind me. There's a guy in America, James, called Andrew, right? And I've got a couple of man crushes in America. Nate Trentinelli, obviously. But Andrew is so fucking hot, right? He's got a big mustache. He fixes classic cars, right? Nice. Yeah, he's super, super cool. And whenever I like, he messages me sometimes, like, giggle. I'm like, whoa. And he's like an ex-ice hockey player. He's just beefy. Yeah, he's the Bulgor of my dreams, James. The Bulgor of my dreams, right?
Everyone's got to have one.
Everyone. Who's the Bulgor of your dreams?
Gandalf.
You fucking weirdly love Gandalf. What? Why is it Gandalf?
Because it's a meme now. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to run with it till someone dresses up as Gandalf for me.
Nathan, who's the beefcake of your dreams? Oh, he's not got his headset on. Okay, fine. All right, perfect. Oh my God, this is taking longer than I thought. I need to hurry up. All right, okay.
Hello, sorry about that.
Sorry, Nathan. Who's the beefcake of your dreams?
The beefcake of my dreams. What are we trying to name? Some muscly men that
you've got the hots for, yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. How about that old fella?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, when we were lighties at school, that was all what the lighties used to like. That guy.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, all right. So, someone just on Patreon. Fucking hype.
Why? Whose was yours?
Mine's Andrew from America. But, yeah, he just made me feel safe. Nice. Right, okay. So, the Bulgor. Okay, so 4 wounds each on a 5-up armor save. Right? They move 70. Oh, we didn't know how much the Doom Ball was. How many points do you think the Doom Ball is?
Sorry. 160 points.
160 points. Okay, that's pretty good. That's true. All right, so 4 wounds, 5-up save on the Bulgor, and they're a unit of 3. They've got a shield. If they decide to take a shield, which they didn't used to have, they can have a 4-up save characteristic, which is wicked. Yeah.
Are they getting a shield from? It's not even in the kit, is it?
I don't know. I don't know where they get a shield from. Oh, probably they want you to use the Theridins as stand-in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a shield in the kit.
Is there?
I've never seen one with a shield.
I've never seen one with a shield. Okay. No one used it before. All right. They come as a unit of 3, by the way. Right. One model in this unit can be a Bloodkin, add 1 to the attacks characteristic. One in every 3 models can be a Banner Bearer when the unit uses its Warherd charge ability. If it includes a Warherd Banner Bearer, you can re-roll the dice that determines whether it suffers a mortal wound or commits. Does it? Thank you to Kenny for the Ungor hype in the chat. And then 1 in every 3 models in this unit can be a Warherd Drummer. Add 1 to charge rolls to this unit if it includes any Warherd Drummers. So +1 to charge, right?
This is a weird kit, though, right? Because this is the reason there's never shields. Because one's got a drum, one's got a banner, and
one's the champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And then you've got the Warherd charge. And if you do take the shield, then I think you're taking the cleaving axe, which is 3 attacks. 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. So it's a bit... Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Warherd charge. After this unit makes a charge move, roll a dice for each one on this unit. On a 2-up, they cause a mortal wound. So if you have a unit of 3, you roll 3 2-ups. Thanks to Kitsune Adventure for donating 100 bits. And you got Blood Greed if this unmodified hit roll. So basically, they've got view. Any 6s to hit will cause mortal wounds equal to the damage characteristic. So if it's damage 2, they'll do 2 mortal wounds on the 6. Yeah, it's quite good. Now, I don't know how I feel about this unit so far. What do you think? Move 7, 12 wounds in a unit, kind of a 4-up armor save, right? And then you've got, that means you would have 10 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. But if you went for a 5-up armor save, you could have 9 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 3. Right? And
all the rends going up.
Yes. And then if you had a pair of axes, you'd have 4 attacks, so 13 attacks from the unit, 4s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. They can be battle line, like Joel is pointing out in the chat, so you can have 9 of them, right? And they've got 2-inch range, so they can sweep across the either. And then paired weapons, says Jackie Chan, on a unit of 6 does like 18 mortal wounds on the charge. So you charge in, do the mortal wounds, and then because you've got so many attacks, so you would have 25 attacks from a unit of 6, you would obviously do a bunch of mortal wounds off those as well, right? So that's
it's a unit of 3, and
unit of 3,
4 wounds each. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think?
160 points.
I'm going to go for 160 points. Yeah. James?
You are both coming up short.
Oh, no.
They are 100.
180 is fine.
And 95 points.
Oh, boy.
However, 3 of them is still 25 points less than some Bestigal.
I mean, they're better than the Bestigal. So, okay, that's kind of. I mean, they've got
pricey.
They've got a small profile, like as in, like it's just 3 little dudes. Might be quite interesting to use as like a hammer unit sometime, right?
Yeah, if you use them as 6s, I mean that profile, the man splitter great axe is the same as, especially with when you get the extra rend, that's going to be the same as a unit of rock cut trolls.
It's true.
So.
Yeah.
There's no way of getting +1 attack, is there? You get +1 damage.
No. So Daedrin says, no, not Daedrin. Sorry, Justin Jar says, if you summon, if you do 6 of them, we'll do 20 wounds to a 2+ save, which is quite interesting. Yeah. So I call Borgars the Nutcrackers, gets the job done. And also, I guess you spike high on those mortal wounds, you're going to punch through a bunch of armor anyway. So that red.
And they are. I mean, movement 7 is relatively quick for an infantry, sort of like a big infantry unit.
Yeah. Desert Sketch is right. That's a good example. If you compare them to Iron Guts, or if you compare them to Kurnoth Hunters, they're not the same. But as Jacob is saying, you could make them charge in every combat phase, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people in the chat and Beast of Chaos fans have done the math on this, and they think that they're very, very good. But at the minute, okay, we'll see.
There's quite a few mortal wounds, isn't it? Which is
I think they're like
nice.
Without picking on the chat, but they're also like an all-time Beast's favorite, right? Like you've always seen a lot of Bulgors.
Yeah, always. I think these
Like
are legit. I want to be clear about that. Especially,
I don't think they're bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also think there's a lot of people sat on a lot of these, so I think they'll get a lot of math done on them because people are like, I've got 15. How do I get them in a list?
Yeah. I mean, the hitting on 4s is pretty rough for the amount of -1s out there. Is my only kind of feedback. Is the generally hit on 4s, which is why maybe I'd go for the Mansplitter Great Axe, especially.
Yeah, I think the Great Axe is what I'd be going for.
Yeah, and also +1 attack from the Realm Command, so that you would be you can either hit on 2s, or I would probably make it so I get +1 attack, which is pretty nice. Okay, interesting. And there's a lot of -1 out there. I think everyone needs to be really clear that there's a lot of +1. -1 to hit out there. But then I guess if you do all that attack and if you do, we'll see. All right, Gorgon. James, the Gorgon.
The boy.
16 wounds on a 5-up save.
Could have given him a 4.
Moves 8 inches.
Yep, he's not fast. He didn't need to be fast.
7 attacks on his main weapon. 4s
he's
and
gone up.
2s. Rend 1, damage 3. 21 damage potentially.
Whoa.
Good
Then
lad.
2 attacks that hit on 4s, a wound on a 2, -1 d6 damage. Right?
They did him dirty. Could have given him D6 plus 3, couldn't they, at this point?
A 4-up save, and hitting on 3s, and I'd be in a little bit. But right now, I'm out, thanks. But
he still eats people.
He does eat people, yeah. So we got Swallow. Yeah, he does. He eats. So if he's unwounded, he swallows 3 units or 3 models that are within 3 inches, and he rolls. If you roll above their wounds characteristic, so he could eat a 5-wound hero on a roll of a 6.
Yeah,
which is great. Like, and it could do that to 3 different heroes in range, all 3 models. And then you got Feast on Flesh. You carry Feast on Flesh, Monstrous Rampage below. Instead of a normal one, it's not an addition. Instead of any other monstrous ones, and his special monstrous rampages improve the rend characteristics of this unit's melee weapons by 1 until the end of the following combat phase. In addition, until the end of the following combat phase, if any enemy models are slain by attacks by this unit, you can heal up to 3 wounds. Right?
Nice.
That's pretty good.
And was it models? Sorry, not units.
Sorry, any
models are slain.
Yeah. Any
so
models.
Because you could chunk through a little unit and heal.
You can, yeah. Like, I think
it's not where you want him, but
no, I think he also probably dies at 16 wounds on a 5-up save. I think this guy should be 220 points. Nathan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, probably 200 points, 220.
Yeah. James, how many points is this bad boy?
He's a little bit more.
Okay.
He's 240.
Okay. Okay. I like the idea of eating command units out, like it's been suggested in the chat, making it so people can't pile in with a spell, and then eating the model out of the middle of a unit to break coherency is kind of fun. But it's a very fragile.
I had a good event where I ran when these dropped really low, and I ran 4, and I found that if anyone can shoot, they're dead. They're dead before they get there.
Yeah.
The benefit being now that they could just deploy into the enemy's lines from behind them.
Yeah. I do like the idea, like Out Not saying in the chat. Let's say we take 4, right? We run them into Chaos Chosen. Okay? That means we're going to get 12 eat attacks.
Yep.
And on a 4-up, we're going to eat 1. So we're going to eat 6 Chaos Chosen before we even swing. Which is kind of fun. Like,
yeah, I think they used to have good utility. It's just that the minute you get shot, they're dead. But I do think there is a benefit that they just deep strike, outflank now and appear behind and go for it.
Yeah, eat Chaos Knights, that's a good one. Eat the Banner Bearer on a Saves to Darkness unit is quite fun as well. I like that. Eat the Wizard inside of a a Lumineth army, although obviously this guy gets... I mean, just deep strike him.
He can, yeah. Ambush.
Yeah, ambush.
And then just fucking eat them.
Fucking eat them. Yeah.
Eat them.
Replace
the rich.
Yeah, replace his weapons with a knife and fork, like on the model. Yeah. It's dinner time, boys.
He's an ogre now.
Oh my god, you could eat the Gobapalooza.
He could. He's quite you wouldn't want him very close to you, that's for sure. No wonder everybody's shooting him all the time. He's not very nice close up.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Next up is the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. How many more have we got left to do? Quite a few? Fucking Christ, lads. We've got to get the move on. Okay?
Okay, go.
Right, okay. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, 10 wounds, 4 up save. Right? He's got a shooting attack, 2d6 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1. He's got 5 attacks in close combat, 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. Don't forget they've lost their pre-game move, which was some massive shenanigans for Dragon Ogres. They're a wizard and cast 1 spell. Each time this unit is affected by a spell or abilities of an end spell, you can ignore it on a 4+, which is pretty great. Beneath the Tempest, at the end of the combat phase, roll a dice for this unit. On a 2+, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to this. In addition, at the end of the combat phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability. On a 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So this is pretty good. Get in there, fight, heal, do damage in mortal wounds. Pretty nice. They've got a 4-up armor save, though, so... And then Summon Lightning is their spell. It's cast at 24 inches and range of 7. If successfully cast, pick D3 friendly Thunderstorm units with range visible to the caster, and you can heal up to D3 wound. Right? So, pretty good. Like,
yeah, I mean, and he had access to those fairly nice spells. That Hailstorm or whatever it was.
Yeah, Hailstorm is access. Yeah.
Great spell. So, yeah.
My issue is the 10 wounds on a 4-up save. Like, there's no ward or anything in there. So I think this bad boy is coming in about 180 points. Nathan, what do you think? Like, he'll die to, like he'll almost die to, like, those 20 Ungol Raiders we've got off board. That plus pick him and do D6 mortal wounds, he's definitely dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in the mirror.
In the mirror match. Yeah. In the deadly mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably, 180, 200 points, something like that.
180, yeah. James, what is he?
He's not a goblin, I'm afraid, Nathan.
Oh,
He's about an eighth of your army at 275.
Shut up. 275?
Yes.
What? What?
275 points.
Nah, that's like, that legit. I said 180, so I think that's just a misprint. I think that's like, it's 175 and someone's put the points in wrong. That's got to be a misprint.
Unless Dragon Ogres are really good because he's making them battle line.
All right, okay, let's find out, shall we? 1 second. Let's carry on. All right, so Dragon Ogres. 5 wounds, 4-up save, 8-inch move. These were wildly cheap before. You've either got Stormforge weapons, which is 5 attacks, 3 threes, red 1, damage 2. No, that's all you've got. And then you've got Raking Foreclaws. 2 attacks, 4s, no rend. Oh, no weapon options, just that. They're elite, so they can issue commands themselves. At the end of the combat phase, roll a dice for this unit. On a 2+, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to this unit. In addition, at the end of the combat phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability. On 2+, D3 mortal wounds. If this unit made a charge move across... I mean, that's a lot of mortal wounds, potentially. Like, at the end of each combat phase. And if this unit made a charge move in the same turn, the unmodified hit roll for an attack move by this unit is a 6, the attack's wounds a target automatically. And they're damaged too. So they're going to do 15 attacks. So you're going to get 2 6s, so you automatically wound twice. 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 2. I quite like this.
But there'll be rend 2 from turn 2 and rend 3 if they live long enough.
I think the issue is that they do not have a 4-up rally now.
Yes.
Like, that's the issue. They don't have a 4-up rally. And they used to be like 115 points or something for 3. So, like, I think they're good. Mystic Shield, all out defense. They've got 3 open and rend 1. Loads of mortal wounds. What would I pay for 3 like this?
That wouldn't...
What's that, Nate?
Mystic Shield, I mean, that Shaggoth wouldn't be casting a Mystic Shield.
You have to get the mic close, bud.
You wouldn't be casting it with that Shaggoth because he's far too expensive. That Mystic Shield.
yeah, you're never taking him, right? I don't know. 15 wounds, 180 points for 3. That's what I'm going for.
I'd say 210.
Wow.
Oh, Nathan wins that fight. They are 225.
And bin. Put them in the bin. All right, boys. Time to sell up. Okay. Okay, get rid of that. Right, Jabba Slythe. They're just too expensive. They're not bad. They're just too expensive. That's all. Right, okay, Jabba Slythe. So this is a monster that's 10 wounds with a 4-up armor save. It's got
Great model.
It's got a shooting attack with 3 attacks, 3 threes, round 1, D3 damage. That's range 10, and it moves 12 inches. So that's pretty nice. In combat, it doesn't do any damage. And then it's got spurting vile blood. Roll a dice each time a wound or mortal wound is caused with melee weapons allocated to unit. On a 4+, you suffer a mortal wound. This used to be the fucking shit. It used to have this ability, James, back in the day, but they used to cost like 40 points or something stupid. So someone just had 1 million, and you just run them forward and just bleed mortal wounds. But it's got an Aura of Madness, Monstrous Rampage. Pick an enemy hero in 3 inches unit, roll a dice. On a 1, nothing happens. 2 to 5, worsen save characters of that hero by 1 till the end of the combat phase. But on a 6, worsen it by 2. It's pretty cool, actually. Like, charge him in. And
Drop
then
the save.
Yeah. Drop their save. What do you think?
He's not too bad. Like, he's doing nothing fighting, though, is he?
No, he's doing nothing in combat. Absolutely nothing. And he's going to die.
And not really anything shooting.
And he's going to die to a fart.
Yeah. He might not get to the hero. And then his monstrous action doesn't really matter. Oh, I like the fact he doesn't fly.
Yeah, he doesn't fly. Yeah, it's true.
Even though he's got wings.
Yeah, R.I.P. Lost Fly.
He's got to be a fairly cheap monster. He's got to be about 120, 140 maybe.
Yeah, I'm going with Nathan, 120, 140, like a cheap monster.
He's slightly more at a casual 160.
Okay. I'm not taking him.
So not awful, but he's not going in your list, is he?
No, he's out. Fuck it. Oh my god, the Cockatrice. The man, the myth, the legend, Adam. The Cockatrice, 8 wounds on a 6-up save. Not a great start. They move 12 inches. Okay. They've got 2 attacks in combat that are 3s and 3s, no rend damage 2. 3 attacks that are 3s and 3s, no rend damage 2. At the start of combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy within 6 inches of this unit and roll a dice. On a 4-up, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. In addition, if any mortal wounds were caused by this ability are allocated to a unit until the end of that phase, only unmodified hit rolls of 6 for attacks made by melee weapons by that unit score a hit. The same unit at the start of the combat phase, so every combat phase.
Yeah, but you can't stack it. But I don't know why how would you stack it, because they hit on a 6. You could fire multiple Cockatrices at a unit. Because you might not roll the 4+. Is the point, James? Yes, but you'd only do it on 1 unit once.
Yes, but you could attempt to do it on multiple on a unit multiple times until you succeeded. Wait, and then you can only hit on a 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong. That's great.
That's great.
And it doesn't have to be in combat to do that.
But it's only melee weapons, right? So if they wanted to shoot, it wouldn't matter. And it only affects the combat phase, is it?
Yeah, but it's still like if you're.
Oh, it's good. I was just trying to work out, because if it was to the following,
ambush on and do that thing.
Well, no, because it's from 6 inches.
Yeah, but if it comes on 9 inches from the board edge and it's within 6, it doesn't need to charge.
Well, I mean, it moves 12 and you can run and do it. It's not a shooting attack.
Yeah, you don't have to charge to do it. You could, I mean, you've got a 15-inch range from the board edge, which is quite far on. That covers all the objectives normally, unless it's just the center of the board.
Wow. And then Madden, double the attack characteristic of this unit's melee weapons if it made a charge move in the same turn. Oh, nice. So it'd end up with 10 attacks at damage too. The fact that it makes a unit hit on 6s is pretty wild. Because if you took, I don't know, it depends. If they're like 100 points, then you would take maybe 2 or 3. Because then what you would do is you'd fish for that, and you effectively make a unit just useless.
Yeah, you could put it on Chosen, right? Or something big and expensive. You could put it on Archeon.
Yeah, I mean,
all his attack profiles.
He has a good ward save, but yeah, like wow.
Because you're not. This isn't, to me. This isn't even like weakening. Like we talked earlier about like weakening a unit and bashing it to death. This is like, I'm just turning your unit off. Here's your like 800-point hero. Enjoy rolling 6s.
And also, it's in each combat phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. This is,
and
it's going to be only. Yeah, it's a cheap little thing. Well, I mean, it's...
Well, we hope it's cheap.
Not cheap. It's a soft little thing. It's only 8 wounds with a 6-up save. So that's where its frailty is. But it's a fun piece to play with, this. What are we saying points-wise? 135.
150.
I love this book.
Oh, no.
Because no one has... very good at getting the points right, because the Shaggoth was 275.
So
this
stupid.
guy only hit on 6s. 50% chance of going off.
Yeah.
He is. I've lost him. Oh no! All that build up. Oh no! Where's he gone? He is. Why have I lost him?
This is a great bit. I like this bit.
105 points.
Shut up.
Whoa.
Shut up.
So you could basically have 3 of these or 1 Shaggoth.
I printed 2 of these. I'm so happy. Where's mine? I was going to throw the Jabberslide away and melt him down, right? But oh my god, it's so exciting. Oh my god. That is absolutely nuts. What happens if you... also, can I ally this in?
Depends who can ally Beasts of Chaos, right?
If I can ally Beast of Chaos into Zinj, I'm just going to put 20 pink horrors in front of you with 2 cockatrices in between, and you'll be like, this sucks.
Just out of range, too, because it can hit you even when they can't.
That is fucking crazy. That is a great unit. Oh my god. Crikey. Fucking crikey, mate.
It doesn't even have to be visible either.
Oh my god. This is legitimately good.
So you can hide behind something and just do it over the wall.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can just use it as a screen, right, as you move forward.
Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't have to be visible, so you can do it on, like, hide it behind a piece of terrain, so it's safe from shooting.
And it's shouting round the corner.
Nathan, you good-looking piece of shit. What a great idea. Yeah, you fucking motherfucker. Yeah, what? Like, just hide him and be like 4+.
Yeah, he's not a very big fella, is he? So.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fantastic. He's an A+ in this, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
I mean, obviously not that model though, because
that skill's hilarious. Like that skill, and also like that skill doesn't exist anywhere else in the game, right?
Has there been anything that we've been like that sucks so far? The
Yes,
Jabberslide, the Bestigor, and then the points on the.
In fact, I don't think any of it was horrific until you get to the points, and then some of it's just wildly expensive.
Thank you to Mr. Val Heffelfinger, the host of the Old World show, for resubscribing to the show today.
Nice.
He's keeping an eye on Age Sigmar now, just in case he steals some for the Old World. But do check that out every Thursday. We're talking about the Old World. Nathan, we're going to talk about the Orcs and Goblins soon.
Oh yeah, cool.
So.
Got Skarsnik and Grom the Paunch and Azhag.
My Grom the Paunch is still in my loft.
Ready at a moment's notice.
I have the biggest box of Old World stuff that's just sat in my loft for 10 years.
Get ready, James. Get it out. Prepare to toot for the maiden.
Polishing that paunch. Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. Nath Bud, we're gonna have to put that mic near your mouth again, just for the Just generally, like not all the time, but mainly when you're speaking, if you fancy.
Yeah. No, I don't.
All right, Chimera. It's still got its mortal wound attack. Oh, do not attack sequence instead D3 mortal wounds. It used to be a 4-up D6, and now it's just D3. Boo. Boo, we hate that. Okay, that's rubbish. 12 wounds on a 5-up armor save. That's rubbish. You can carry out the thrice-fold savagery monstrous rampage below. Ooh. Until the end of the following combat phase, add one to the attack characteristic of this unit's melee weapons, but all the attacks made with the unit's melee weapons must target the same enemy unit. +1 attack to all the melee weapons. So
it's got loads of attack profiles, isn't it? So 4, so that's extra 4 attacks, and it's got 3, 6, 9, 15, so 19 attacks.
As Jacob said, it wasn't a 4 plus D6 mortal wounds. It was just D6 mortal wounds. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's got 3 attacks on the Leonine head that are D6 damage, but there's no rend, which I think is the issue. It doesn't.
It gets rend from the herdstone.
It does. It doesn't. It doesn't bracket. That's a good point as well. Okay.
Oh.
3 attacks are doing 3 damage, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, the avian head's got 3 attacks doing 3 damage, 6 attacks doing 1 damage. Interesting. If this is cheap, if this is like 220,
can it fly?
It can fly.
Yeah,
I'm going to say if this is 220, I'm in.
Oh, okay.
But it's got no utility. 220 is what I'm saying. Nath, what do you think?
I reckon 200.
Okay. Again, a wild book. He's 185 points.
That's pretty good.
I think you're in.
I think I'm in. I don't think that's too bad.
That's free, yeah.
I mean,
he's a fast little damage dealing monster.
Yeah.
That only gets hit back on 6s. But I mean...
yeah, well, you've got loads of cockatrices running around as well.
Just loads of them,
okay, so then we got the Cygor, James. Your time.
Oh no, here's the lads.
16 wounds on a 5-up armor save that moves 8 inches.
Oh, he's faster than his brother.
Right? He's got 1 attack. It's a shooting attack that's 12 inches. It no longer brackets the range, and that's great because it used to go down to 3 inches. 12 inches is how far he throws that boulder, but he moves 8, so he's going 20 inches, mate. Yeah? What are you laughing at?
Just like he's this huge hench fucking cow. Not as far as a skink's blow dart.
Oh.
Can see where it lands. He's only got 1 eye, so maybe that's the issue.
That's true. Well, he hits on a 3, so that's not the issue. Wins on a 2, Ren 2, which is pretty good. And then as it's a damage 5, and then it goes down as it moves on. And then in combat, he's got 7 attacks that are 3s and 2s, rend 1, damage 2. So that's going to be potentially 14 damage with the massive horns. And he's got a couple of things. He can consume an ender spell, Monstrous Rampage, which is pick 1 ender spell within 6 inches and roll 2d6. If the roll is greater than the casting value of this spell, use some of that in the spell, then you get to dispel it and heal a number of wounds allocated. And then we've got Soul Eater. This unit can attempt to unbind 2 spells in the enemy hero phase in the same manner as a wizard. In addition, each time an enemy wizard within 30 inches of any friendly units with this ability successfully casts a spell, that spell is not unbound, the caster suffers a mortal wound. What? After the effect of that spell has been resolved. What did I just read? Wait, hold on.
What?
He just always does a mortal wound for wizards now.
In addition, each time an enemy wizard within 30 inches of any friendly units with this ability, so every time you cast a spell,
you just take damage.
You're going to just take no dice roll. Yeah. You just take a mortal wound.
Yep.
What the fuck?
I have to find these points.
That's really interesting.
Imagine you have 4 of them.
Someone like
every time you cast a spell, you take 4 mortal wounds.
Too bad. Too bad. I mean, this would, if you could take this into Khorne, that would be quite fun. This is fucked into Tzeentch. Like literally, this destroys the Tzeentch army immediately. Like you lose the game. Like,
but it's funny.
No, anytime that you successfully cast a spell, the enemy. So okay, this is nuts.
Yeah, take 4 of them. Do 4 mortal wounds every time.
No. It's anytime you're in range of
any friendly.
Dude, this is amazing. LRL are going to be pissed about this. Teclis is just taking 4 mortal wounds just for casting spells.
Yeah. All of those multicasters. They're gonna
fucking all right. Well, I'm glad I'm not playing Tzeentch anymore anyway. So,
How many points is he?
Oh man. I mean, other than that, he's shit. Is he?
He kind of can fight.
He can kind of shoot as well, I guess.
Yeah, kind of shoot, kind of fight.
What are you thinking?
In the spell rule, 250. I don't know. I've got no idea anymore.
I'm going to go with Nathan. I'm going to go 240.
He's a cheap boy. 210.
Shut up!
This book is the randomest set of points I've ever seen.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Not bad.
That's amazing. Welcome back, Dan.
Oh, good to be here.
I'll give you a quick recap. Cygor cause mortal wounds to anyone within 30 inches if they successfully cast a spell every single time. The Chimera's cheap and does some damage. The
so that James will be stoked about that because he loves the sculpt.
He fucking loves it. Cockatrices make it so that a unit within 6 inches in every combat phase only hits on 6s.
On a 4-up.
The Jabberslide shit. Dragon Ogres are too expensive, and so is the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and there's Gorgon shit. That's where we're at so far.
What do you mean? The Gorgon is the one that you want to cast that spell on to give it an extra attack on each of its profiles, right?
That's a big no from me. Thank you, boss. I'm going to say...
if you cast that spell onto the Chimera, and then it does the Monstrous Rampage, getting extra 2 attacks on all of its profile.
That is a very
it's got 4 profiles.
Bro, the Cygor has just changed the meta. I mean, just to be clear, when he plays Lumineth, they're just going to fucking shoot the fuck out of him in the first turn he's dead. Right?
They can, but what if you've got 4... If you take 4 Cygor, every time a wizard casts a spell, 4 mortal wounds.
And you can make a battle line, and they're priests.
And you put them... If you put them in Quake, in the whatever it's called, the Doom Eternal Quake group thingy, they get priests and spells and priests and whatnot. So yeah.
Okay,
great.
All right.
Love it.
Let's do this. Okay, then we got Zangor. Zangor haven't changed. They've got 2 up armor save. 2 wounds and a 5 up armor save. They move 6. A model that has an Arcanite shield has a ward save of 6. You got Zangor mutants. You got a musician, which lets them run and still charge. Which is really good. The option is always the pair of Savage Blades if you read the profile. So you don't do any mutants, you don't do any big weapons. It's quite a complicated unit to build, but you don't do any of that because you've got 10 dudes doing 3 attacks each on 3s and 3s, no rend damage 1, but that's 30 attacks straight off the bat. And then
they're not no rend. They're not no rend.
Well, on turn 2, they'll be rend 1. But you then take when they charge in, they get +1 attack on their beak as well. So you basically end up with 50 attacks on 10 Zangor when they charge in, which is pretty good. And then they got the Ornate Totem, which is when you cast spells near them. So if you have a wizard within 9 inches at the start of the hero phase, then on a 4+ you can do mortal wounds. If you have 6 Bray Shaman in front and behind a unit of 1 Zangor, 10 Zangor, and a banner, you basically spaff out 6 shots on a 4-up, you do a mortal wound. At 18
and you can
inches.
take one banner for every 10 models. So a 20 unit doubles the amount of 30
I
unit
think you have to have 2 units of 10, not 1 unit of 20.
Okay, yep. Oh yeah, if this unit includes any icon bearers. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not 1 per icon.
So if Zangor are still at what they were, which was like 185 or whatever it is, they're legit fantastic. Zangor always will be. Like, but their banner bearer, they doesn't do a rally on a 5+ like the other dudes, so they don't have that. So I would say, and also they only have 1-inch reach, so actually they can't fight in 2 ranks. So that's
honestly, I'm much more interested in facing off against multiple units as a gameplay, like a more interesting game to face small units of 10 of these than large units of 20 and 30. So that's fine by me. That's a tick.
Yeah, so what are you... I'm thinking that they stay the same points, like 180, 190, or whatever they ended up being. Is that what they are, James?
They are 170.
Gone down.
But I'm not sure because they are also taglined as Beasts of Chaos Zangor. So I guess that differentiates them from the Zangor you would use.
It does.
If you played Tzeentch.
It does. It does. That's amazing. Yeah, that's great. 170 even cheaper is pretty good. Like, especially because like you could because you're encouraged to MSU because of the banner, right? And then you charge in the unit of regular gore, right? Charge in, fight last, 50 attacks with 1 unit of 10, 50 attacks with another unit of 10. All right, pretty good. Right, the Morgite Chaos Spawn. So 5 wounds and 5 up save. They got a Spew of Corruption, which is 8 inches. So
great.
18-inch range. D6 shots, 3 threes, rend 1 damage too. Wow.
When did Spawn get good?
Yeah.
Oh, these are the specific ones for the faction.
Yeah, Morgite Chaos Spawn. Oh,
okay.
No. Subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of weapons used by enemy units while they're within 1 inch of this unit. Pardon me. Subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of weapons used by enemy units while they're within 1 inch of this unit.
Enemy, and particularly enemy units, not enemy models. So it's not like you can have dudes in the 2nd rank or your big boys or whatnot reaching over with 2 and 3 inch range. It's the whole unit.
The other big thing on that statement is it's weapons, not melee.
Weapons used by enemy units while
true.
Oh, yeah, true. True.
Hello, ranged.
James, what's the battlefield profile say on this? Does it say it could be battle line or something? Or is that something else?
No, single can be included in a
tribe. It could be, couldn't it?
Gave Spawn army. These units must be taken as a set referred to as the Gibbet-Giving Congregation. Yeah. Although taken as a set, each is a separate unit, and you get 3. A 1, a 1, and a 1. So, and they are battle line, sorry.
So then I could reinforce them as like a 9, but they're a 1 and a 1 and a 1?
They're single.
Okay. So I can
you just get, I think, single. Can only be included in a Gave Spawn army. These units must be taken as a set referred to as a Gibbering Congregation. Although taken as a set, each is a separate unit.
Okay, so that means I could take 3 units of 3, but they're 3 1s. So it would be 9 1s.
Yes.
9 1s of these idiots.
I think Stavo's right though. I don't think you can reinforce single models.
No, you can't. You can't reinforce a single. I just didn't read it. I didn't know it said single.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's single, so you can't reinforce it.
Can we also talk about 10-inch move and can run and charge? Like
That's pretty great.
All you're going to do is, but these are perfect little bombs. With 5 wounds, you tag them on the end of something. You're not even intending on fighting with them, but you hit with your Zangor or your Bestigor, right? And you tag one of these on the end just to remove the extra attacks going back against them. You don't care about the Spawn winning the fight. You care about your opponent not killing your other units that you prefer.
What's really cool is the Tzeentch one, because they've made a special rule for all the Spawn. So Tzeentch Spawn are different. And they have like the heal, and then they do mortals on 6s. And then these guys got 8 attacks in combat, 3 threes and no rend. 8 attacks. Okay, so how much is 1 Spawn?
So we can't buy 1, we can buy 3.
Right, okay. So
we can buy 3 singles.
Okay, so there are 5 wounds each with a 5-up armor save. So I'm going to go for 80 points per Spawn. So I'm going to go for 240 points.
I reckon I think these will be underpointed to try and sell Spawn. I reckon 60. I reckon 180 for 3.
No way. Nathan?
Yeah, I'll go with 180 for 3. Yeah, sounds good to me. Or even cheaper. I'll go cheaper. 150 for 3.
150 for 3. You're out your mind.
Nathan, you were going the wrong way.
Oh, yes.
It is 230 points for 3.
Fucking get in, Rob. Get in,
Jesus,
Rob.
that's
65
good.
points, though. Like, and that's
65 points for one of them is great.
Yeah, and then, it's going to be 3d6 shooting attacks, 3 threes, rend 1 damage too. I think the important part is the utility in reducing the... Wow, there's so much debuff in this army. It's fantastic. Okay, worst unit in the game, Zangor Enlightened. Hate them to pieces. Not Zangor Enlightened, sorry. Zangor Skyfires. 4 wounds, like normal armor save. Ignore. They've got this, they're the same as the Zinch unit, and I hate them in Zinch anyway. Have they changed points? If they're not 220, how many points are they?
Sorry, which ones? Enlightened?
Skyfires.
Basic S, Zangor. Basic S, 210.
Yeah, I hate them. Yeah, they fucking suck. And then you got Zangor Enlightened on disc, 4 wounds, movement 4, same profile, I assume, as in the Zinch book, and they're amazing in the Zinch book. You can't use friendly command abilities in range, so another debuff when they're like within 3 inches. Great in a fight, and then you can add one to the wound rolls if you go second in the turn. How much is the Zangor Enlightened? They haven't changed, I assume, on disc. Move 16 inches. Go on.
215.
215.
215.
Yeah, they're brilliant value. They're brilliant value. Zangor Shaman, 6 wounds and a 4-up armor save. Cast a spell, flies. Once per battle, you can cast with an extra 3 to the casting roll. So really nice to see they haven't changed that in fucking 4 years or whatever. Boon and Mutation, cast on 7 and a range of 8.
What do you mean? They nailed it.
Yeah,
they nailed it. They wrote him 4 years ago, and they were like, just put a fork in him. He's done.
Yeah. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within range invisible to the caster, suffers D3 mortal wounds. For each model that is slain and caused by the spell, you can add 1 Zangor model that is not a champion or Zangor mutant to a friendly Zangor host within 1 inch of the caster. So yeah, it's kind of like a fun little addition as well that you can like pop mortal wounds and pop Zangor back into Zangor, or add Zangor to Zangor blocks, which is fun. And then, it is what it is. 6 wounds on a 4-up armor save is always nice. Like, it's quite a chunky caster if you're going to have a caster.
And fast, too.
And fast, move 16. I would say, like, still good value. Although it doesn't really integrate with the rest of the army, if that makes sense.
Well, he can take the spells from the law, can't he?
You can. That's true. Yeah. Take the spell from the law.
And he's fast, so you could use him to zip about. And he could use the heroic action, so you could use him to zip about and then pull people around.
Blow up objectives.
Yeah, or pull people around.
Okay. I'm going to say he's 180 points. He's a caster that's very fast. What do you think, Nath?
100 and... I'll go slightly cheaper, 160 points.
James?
Does Dan want to have a bet? Guess? Dan?
I don't think Dan's here at the minute.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he is. He's here.
Oh.
How much do I think he is?
Yeah.
180.
And again, this book, wild. 115 points.
Shut up!
No!
Nice.
What?
115. 115. He's cheaper than 5 wound shitty models in just about every other army.
115.
115.
Are you sure you're using Zangor Shaman on disc?
Oh, hang on.
Thank God. Thank God.
Beast of Chaos Zangor Shaman? Is that him?
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, that's him. 115 points.
Why?
God almighty.
Why is he?
I mean, you know why?
I mean, he's not that good. I mean, he's not that good. But okay.
I'm sorry, a wizard. Like, take everything else away. You have a flying 6 wound 4-up wizard with the ability to summon models and cast an extra spell and add 3 to the casting roll. That wizard, and then compare it to like a battle mage from Cities of Sigmar. Like, for roughly the same points.
Okay.
That's obscene.
Okay. That's nuts. Yeah, he's like 114 disciples each. Don't talk to me about it. It's okay. Tzeentch is over now because Cygor have defeated them. One Cygor just turned up on the board, and then Tzeentch are like, "Yes, I die."
I can't wait to see that army, which is like 4 Cygor, and then you just watch your opponent be like, I kill, like, and then you do go turn 1. You're like D6 mortal wounds to your wizard.
Oh, it only procs once, even if you have 4.
Yeah, only procs
really?
once. Yeah, only procs once. So you should only take 1 because they are shit for every other reason. Just have 1 to be like, ha ha. Right, Chaos Warhounds exist, I guess. When you make a charge roll of this unit, you can change one of the dice to a roll of a 4, 2 wounds on a 6-up armor save, and they come as a unit of 5. I'm going to say 80 points.
They're a unit of 10 now.
Oh, wait, in which case 160 points.
120.
What are you saying, James?
They are 110.
Oh, my God.
For 10.
Okay,
110 for 20 wounds.
Yeah, but why are you ever going to... wait, 110 points for 20 wounds?
Yeah. So fast little screen type unit. I mean, you run them into somebody with one of those cockatrices nearby. They won't kill them anyway. Like, I can't get them. Stand still, dog.
And they're faster. 10 inch.
Oh my God!
No,
so you run up 2 units of warhounds, then you yeet up 2 cockatrices. Your opponent's just trying to kill the warhounds, does fuck all. The rest of your army moves up.
For 5 turns, they're just stuck in the corner. Can't get past the dogs.
That's true.
I mean, look, the thing is, it's a screen unit for sure, but 20 wounds for 110 points on a fast screen is actually rad.
Yeah, it is good, but like the only thing I'm thinking is, and I agree with you, like it's a 6-up save versus the 4-up armor save on the Gore.
Yeah, true.
They're faster than the Gore though, but the Gore then have strike last. They've got a good attack profile as well, 2 attacks each, 4s and 3s, no rend damage 1. So like, they're going to kick out 20 attacks, so that's great as well. So definitely an option. And slightly different to Gore, slightly different to Ungor Raiders, or Ungor, sorry. So like they all do a different job, which I think is really interesting because you've got like this like triple conversation about like which one of those 3 you're going to use, and maybe you use multiple ones. Yeah, Warhounds take up way more space. That's a really good shout. 10 Warhounds are going to take up more of the board.
Can we remove Justin Jar Jar from the chat for saying Gora busted? Like, I don't want that out there until I've counted how many I've got.
Yeah, calm down, Justin Jar Jar. This
don't lie to the people.
Hey, Chaos Spawn, we don't care about them when we've got rad Chaos Spawn.
Oh, wait, sorry, regular Spawn.
Yeah, regular Spawn.
No.
Boo,
so
if
you don't take that other tribe, you have to take these ones, don't you?
Yes.
Which are exactly the same as the old ones.
Yeah.
Oh, have they lost their ability where they get +1 to hit if you roll a double?
They have.
No, it's still there. Add 1 to hit a wound if you roll the double.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yes. The writhing tentacles. Yeah. Right, the Gargant, Nathan.
Chaos
12
Gargant.
wounds, 5-up armor save, right? Moves 8 inches, so not super fast, but doesn't bracket on its movement, which is hot. Okay, it's got a massive club, which is 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rand damage 2. It's got an Edbutt, which is one of my favorite attacks. It used to be damage 5, which is 1 attack, 4s and 3s, rend 2, damage 4, and this is what you do the spell on, Dan. Extra attack on that.
Yeah.
A Mighty Kick, 1 attack, 3 3s, rend 1, damage 3. Timber, if you fall over, you do mortal wounds. Stuff them in me bag. After this unit makes a piling move, pick 1 enemy model within 3 and roll dice if it's at least double that model's wounds characteristic is slain, so boo. So that's rubbish. You can only kill up to 3 wounds. Whipped into Frenzy. At the start of combat phase, if you're within 6 inches of a Beast of Chaos hero, add 1 to the attack characteristic of this unit's melee weapons. Excuse me. 3
and then you put the spell on it.
Yeah, I love the 3 headbutts is clearly he just grabs them and just keeps smashing his head into them until they're done. And I like that if he's kicking them and massive clubbing, has anyone seen Hot Rod and knows what the ultimate punch is? Because it feels like that's what the Chaos Gargant does. It runs in and does the ultimate punch.
The Headbutt is also Rend 2, and he has an aura. Subtract 1 from save rolls for enemy units within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability. So let's just
3.
So let's just
Rend 4.
let's just talk about the combo.
Yeah.
I charge in a unit of Gore and you strike last. I've charged in a Gargant, and you're -1 to your save. I've done a spell on you, so you're +1 damage with all of my attacks, and I've fought with a Beast Lord before I fight with my unit. So my unit of Gore is going to do 20 attacks, 3s and 2s at Rend 1. Rend 2 in turn 2, that's damage 2. Oh, wow.
But even this bloke just going in by himself, the Herdstone giving him +1 rend on all of his attacks, getting an extra attack. You don't even need the spell, but the spell to give him an extra attack, and then your opponent being -1 to their save rolls, which is effectively you're adding 2 to all of your rend from turn 2.
Okay, all right. Let's hope 160. Let's dream big, boys. Let's dream big. 160.
140.
Nathan says, "Oh, Dad's dreaming really big." I thought I was dreaming big at 160. What?
I think 140.
Okay, James, come on.
He's only 12
Nathan,
wounds.
before we go any further, we'll stop the stream. We won't do any more show. Before we go, are there still Aelgas or Gargants in Gits?
Yeah.
Are they good?
They're all right. They're not as good as everything else, but they're all right. They're better than they were.
So do you have several spare that I could have before Rob asked for them?
They are not cheaper than 140. It's not possible. Come
They're
on.
not cheaper than 140, Rob. Just add a 5 on.
145.
No.
145.
Are you to be fair, none of that. You don't summon. You don't summon. Man, this is a great army. Oh my god. That means, so if you just had 10 Zangor, 10 Zangor, turn 2, you should eat this dickhead in with 10 Zangor, and then you're going to have 50 attacks that are Rend 2.
Yeah.
And then your opponent's like, I'd like to hit you back. You're like, just 6s, mate. No way. Okay, Grashrak Felltooth. He had 6 inches to heroic actions, and then he does D3 mortal wounds per unit, and then add 1 to hit rolls for attacks by melee weapons that target that unit until the next hero phase. That's pretty dope, actually. The special character +1 to hit against a unit. Nice.
He's the weird underworlds, overworlds, upside down worlds boy.
Yes, he is. Underworlds. Also, I can't believe how many Gargants are left in the world. Like 9 million Gargants. Oh my god! Wait, are we still not finished? Tuskor Chariot. Oh my god!
This model still exists.
Angor are also Bray-hooted as well, so they would get the +1 to hit and wound from the Beast Lord buff as well. Oh, that's nice.
There isn't. Okay, so it's 7 wounds on a 4-up armor save, which seems quite a good armor save for the oldest model in the world. Moves 10, which is fast. It's got a spear that's damaged 2. 4 attacks that are damaged. Like
so old.
Yeah, no profile. If this unit has 2 or more models, James, how many chariots can I have?
A lot.
What? A unit of what?
A unit of 2.
Unit of 1.
But you can reinforce them into 2s. They're not single, are they?
No, they're not single.
Can they be battle line?
No.
Okay. After this unit makes a charge move, you can pick one enemy within an inch, and roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll. Oh my god. Add 1 to each roll if the enemy has a wound characteristic of 1 or 2. For each 5+, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So they've got an ogre charge on 4 ups. Okay, no.
5 ups, isn't it?
It's 5 ups unless they've got a wounds characteristic of 1 or 2, in which case you add 1. Right? So they're literally ogres. Okay. No. These can't be cheap. These are not 80 points or something.
They're not 80 points. I reckon they're 70. I reckon they're 70 points.
Nothing in this book is that cheap.
Okay. Right, a unit of 1 and just doing an ogre charge. Go on, tell me.
You want to know? No,
90
you haven't
points.
guessed.
90 points. Go on, Nath.
90 points. Just add 5.
95.
95.
No, they are not 95 points.
They are 95 points. Get some Gargants, get some Chariots.
Don't do any of that. Take 10. Just go. Just send it. Yeah?
It's like the better version of the Stormcast Chariot list I kept trying to
What am I talking about? Take 15. Let's go, boys. Yeah, 2 units of 10 dogs at the front. 15 chariots!
Well, that's the thing, right? You'd never take a unit of 2 because you're like, oh, if I have a champion, I get an extra attack on my melee weapons. Bugger that right off. 2 charging in means double the Tuskor charge.
Oh my god. Gore damage doesn't seem that good though. Like, listen, unbelievable stuff. Just okay, this easy. We've solved it. 1 Bray Shaman, 19 chariots. Just start them all off the board. And be like, guess what? I'm about to charge a lot. Yeah? Bang, 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 bang.
They all get +1 to charge, so they're hitting you on 8s. Let's go.
Wow. I wasn't expecting them to be good. And also, they're so fucking ugly.
They're minging.
They could sell a few, though.
They can sell it. I mean, don't get these. Get anything else. Just get like a
just buy the new Chaos Chariot.
Yeah, just buy that. Yeah, it's a goat.
Stick a goat in. Sorted.
What's his base size as well? Because that's quite interesting. Anyway, doesn't matter. Because you could like heroic action move a unit away, charge in the chariots. Oh my god, this army is great fun. Okay, Centaur, 2 wounds each on a 4-up armor save. I think they've added +1 to their armor save, which is really good.
Yes, they have.
They've got a shooting attack, which has got rend, which is quite nice. But their spear in combat is only 2 attacks, 3 threes, rend 1. And then they've got their limbs is 2 attacks, 4s. 1 of 5 models can be a banner bearer. They can retreat and still charge in the turn, which is pretty good. Add 1 to the attack characteristic for the champion, and then add 1 to run and charge rolls. So they could be charging on a +2 when they come in from reserve. The first 2 rounds, the first 2 wounds or mortal wounds caused to this unit in the combat phase are negated. In addition, if a model of this unit would flee as a result of a failed backshot test, you can roll a dice on a 2+ that model does not flee.
First 2 wounds.
Yeah, the first 2 wounds in the combat phase. And then add 1 to the attack characteristics of this unit's melee weapons while it's holding within 9 inches of any objectives.
They're just always drunk now. You're not choosing. They're just always drunk.
To be fair, though, the Centaurs have been trying to get drunk for a while. It's nice that they've entered the "we're just drunk all the time."
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to jump back to the Tuskor chariots for a hot second, they are sold out in the US and Australia. You can still get them in the UK though. So if you're planning on doing this,
if you buy them, if
Tuskor
you're listening to this show and you buy one, I think you're a moron. Do not buy the Tuskor chariot. Literally buy anything else and make it a Tuskor chariot. Like
buy a Hot Wheels car and stick a Bessinger on.
Like anything, please, God, do anything else, right? Oh my God. I quite like the Centaur. Okay, they're 5. It's a unit of 5. They've got 4-up armor save, 2 wounds. It seems like their job is to kind of hold an objective or be a bit of a tank, but they're very fast at 14 inches. So,
do you want to know something fun?
Yeah, go for it.
If your general is a great Bray Shaman, these can be battle line.
Oh.
I mean, you've got great battle line options anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Okay, okay, so...
Well, if you did this, then you can have Warhounds, these guys, chariots, like everything's moving fast, I guess.
Yeah. I'm going to go for 140 points.
130.
Hundo.
They are sadly expensive boyos.
Yeah.
They are 170 points.
Oh, that's fine.
Ooh.
That's fine, because they're like...
Yeah, that's fair.
Because hounds are better for the same role in the same place. Like, yeah, that's fine. Oh my God, Razor Claws! I fucking
look at the eyes on these things.
Kidding me?
Razor Gores look like fucking stonefish, and
my favorite thing about the Razor Gore, and I can't see from that picture, but the picture on like the website's still on a square base, and that paint job is like 90s. This is still a 90s paint job.
This is comfortably the biggest cash grab I've ever seen. This is like. Before you buy Old World, buy this shit off us, right? In my opinion. Anyway, 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, no rend damage 2. Come as a unit of 1. Can it be reinforced? Can I have multiple Razor Gore?
You can.
You can have 2, yeah.
You can have 2.
Can I have a unit of 2? If this unit is within 3 inches of any friendly Ungor units at the end of your charge phase, and this unit made a charge move in the same turn, double the attacks characteristic of these units' melee weapons, so 8 attacks. And at the end of each phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to it. if any models are slain because he eats them. Okay, I don't know, 60 points for this potato. I don't know. He's got 4 wounds on a 5-up armor save. 60 points. What are you saying, Dan?
45.
I'm gonna say 50.
Just add 5 to it, Rob.
What is it?
65.
65.
65.
Pass.
Fucking throw it in the bin. A potato.
No, that makes sense. They've underpointed things that are startlingly good, so it makes sense that they'd overpoint things that are startlingly mediocre.
Slack
mediocre.
Oh my god, Daddy, let's go. Okay.
Come on. Ever since I saw the designs, my question has always remained the same. How do they pull on those stockings with only claws and no hands?
Someone
and I
does
know,
it for them.
no, I know in Slanesh people were like, oh, well, some of the humans must do it. But can you possibly tell me in a world where in a Beasts of Chaos army, there's some like Gore or Ungor whose job it is to put on their freaking tights? Like, draw me that world. That's that. I don't believe that.
Job, right?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
A wizard did it, apparently. Right, so they've either got 3 or 4 wounds we don't know. Either 3 or 4 wounds on a 5-up save. And they come as a unit of 3. One more on this unit can be a Slate Horn, and you can add +1 to its damage. And they can either Fingerbolt is armed with razor sharp claws, is what they've got. But your champion can have razor sharp claws and a gilded weapon. So that's what's going on. So you're going to have from the unit, you're going to have 13 attacks. At the end of any phase, if any wounds or more wounds are allocated to this unit in that phase, and this unit is more than 9 inches from all enemy units, this unit can move up to D6. Wow. So if you shoot at it, it's going to move D6 units. D6 inches, sorry. And then obsessive violence, once per part in the combat phase of this unit is fought for the first time in that phase, you can say it will continue. So you can fight again, but strike last. So
also, just to jump back to slaughter at any cost, you don't have to end that free D6 move closer. So basically, if someone shoots at you, you get a free redeploy.
But they're 9 wounds on a 5-up armor save, right?
I have a feeling it's 9 for the unit.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
3
3 wounds each. 9, because it's unit 3 on a 5-up armor save. But they do have, like we talked about, they do have 13 attacks in close combat. And they're hit on 4s, which is the downside. Wound on 3s, rend 1, damage 2. So they have got to damage 2, which is kind of interesting. But obviously they combo with fights last. You could have them up to damage 3. They're Bray Herd, like Nathan said, so you could get them plus one to hit, +1 to wound. And in turn 2, they'll be rend 2. If you're near a Gargant, they're going to be, for some reason, they're rend 3. Which is quite nice. I don't know, like I would need them to be quite cheap because they're not very survivable.
I think my prediction is they're going to be expensive because all of the old shitty models have been great with low costs. These new models will be average. So I reckon they're going to be expensive.
They come in 3s, eh?
Yeah, so it's unit of 9. I don't think it could be that expensive because it's unit 9, 140.
I reckon unit 3. So unit 9 wounds.
9 wounds.
I reckon 180.
110.
Okay. They're cheap boys. They are 130 points for 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all right. Yeah.
That's cheap. That's good. Okay, 3 endless spells. Wildfire Taurus, my favorite endless spell. It's predatory. You set it up within 6 inches, and it moves 12 inches when you set it up, and it's cast on a 7. After its endless spells move, roll dice for each unit that has any models it passes across, and each other unit within an inch, and it's on a big base. On a 2+ suffers D3 more wounds. In addition, the strike blast effect applies to units within 3 inches. My favorite spell from this book. Such a good spell. I'm going to say it's 70 points because it's amazing.
It is 70 points.
Nice.
There we go.
Brilliant. It's great. Great endless spell. Absolutely great.
Yeah, that's
Massive.
good value for that, actually.
Yeah, loads of mortal wounds and then just strike last.
And it's got loads of movement. 12 inches.
And importantly, it doesn't affect Beasts of Chaos. So you
nice.
don't need to worry about
buff.
putting your models around it.
Oh, nice. So it no longer affects Beast of Chaos, so it buffs you. That's really nice. I love that. Okay, Birds are bonkers.
This was my favourite.
The Ravening Direflock. Cast on a 5, set up within 12 inches. If successfully cast, set up the parts of the end of the spell within 3 inches of each other, wholly within range, invisible to the caster. Only Beast of Chaos wizards can attempt to cast a spell. It's predatory. The end of spell is a predatory end of spell that moves 8 inches. The parts always have to be within 3 inches of each other. Harbingers of Dark Omens. Models cannot issue Rally or Inspiring Presence while they're within 6 inches of this end of spell. The ability has no effect on Beast of Chaos. That's amazing. Roll a dice each time an enemy model issues a command within 6 inches of this end of spell. On a 5+, that command is not received. Wow. And the command point that was spent to issue that command is lost. So you set it up within 12 inches and it moves 8. So in the first turn, it's going to be a 20-inch range. And
it's
then it
effectively
affects... It affects you within 6 inches. So it's got a 26-inch threat range at the start of the game.
It's like I think it's a better Horrorghast.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Rally. Yeah, it's only cost on a 5 though, so it's quite easy to dispel it when you get your turn. You just get rid of it straight away when you.
Yeah.
You would, but like I mean, I could
that's
launch
costing you a spell. So,
yeah, I'm launching it at you and then like attacking you. It's not bad. With 15 chariots.
It's also one that you're forcing your opponent to dispel. You know, like you're saying you have to use a spell to stop this.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to try to.
So models kind of issue the Rally or Inspiring Presence, and then it's because on a 5+, not received. So you can make it so that like you couldn't Mighty Destroyers or something, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Also, plus all your wizards are dead from mortal wounds anyway because of the Cygor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
And that heroic action at the back of the
board.
And that
lad shooting you out the back of the, and blowing up objectives and terrain and all of that malarkey.
40 points.
And if you take,
60 points.
40 points of birds.
Bugger off.
That's good value.
That's great value. Especially as you're taking like 5. Oh my god. Dome Blast Dirge Horn. On a 6, set up within 12, doesn't move. When the end of spell is set up and it is a range of 6 inches at the start of each subsequent round, it increases by 6. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made by the units within range of this end of spell. With this ability has no effect on Beast of Chaos. Oh my god.
Oh.
-1
to wound.
But
I always like the mechanic on this because it's always been the same. I always think it's fun. But what I found was because it never moves, you've got to put it somewhere central and it ended up getting dispelled a lot. But it's fun.
This is
probably less fun for people
30
now.
points. I don't know.
Yeah, 20 or 30 points. It's cheap because it's not predatory.
-1 to wound is great.
It's 30 points. Worth sticking in to just keep casting.
Amazing value. Amazing
now here's the thing though, like
I mean if they're only hitting you on 6s, it doesn't matter if they're -1 to wound.
Well, then they're hitting you on 6s and they've got a wound at -1.
If they're look at it this way though, right? Like you take an incarnate in your list. I know you've got a lot of other options, but let's assume you do. If there's an incarnate in your list, you've got enough abilities to mortal wound off your own heroes that are bound to it. And then you've got a cheap, endless spell you can summon for it to eat. So you can kill your own hero, charge in, eat your own thing, and then be leveled up, turn 1, bottom of turn 2.
Okay, so what are our thoughts? Let's just wrap this up in a bow. I think it's fair to say that it feels like the points are a little bit all over the place. And we've read through a lot of units and we're trying to get a lot of value out of that. But I legit don't see where the expensive bits are. I guess the thing that we're not seeing is we're still saying Beast of Chaos on our head and we're expecting there to be some summoning. This army, once it loses a unit, it's just going to lose that unit. And a lot of that units are going to be lost fairly easy. Although there's some good armor saves in there. They're not, saves to darkness armor saves, but they're not bad. And they have utility to stop. They've got strike last effects all over the place. And then they've got great anti-magic in some ways. I think there's loads of value. I don't think there are many Clanger War Scrolls. Just points either go up or down to try and kind of change the meta around. It feels like you can build a couple of different lists, maybe.
I think there's a couple of war scrolls that are very similar, like Gore and Best to Gore. The difference is
massive points.
Minute on the war scroll to massive points.
Yeah.
So I think like there's some weird bits in there, like that shag off. Like people that were running multiples of that might as well just put them in the bin.
I mean, anyway,
but I think like actually for me like seems pretty solid. Probably not disgusting. I think if you'd have kept the summoning mechanic on this, it would have been terrifying because you'd have just been like, here's a cockatrice, hit on 6s. Next turn, here's a cockatrice, hit on 6s. So like they seem to have removed the summoning but made it more fun to play. But I also think like there'd be a weird, like there's a lot of weird flex on the sub-allegiances where you could choose the like complex ones against the easier ones, which is probably what sets this army from being super good to average.
See, I don't think so. People are saying ultimately it's the army-wide ambush. I don't even think it's that. Like, I think what's also really exciting about this is if you remember how the deployment step works, I deploy a unit or I put it in reserve. I don't put all my units in reserve immediately. So, like, I can be like, 10 gore on the line, 10 gore on the line. And you're like, okay, I'm a one drop, my whole army's down. And I'm like, okay, cool. Or you can be like, I don't know, 6, like, enlightened, like, in reserve. And your opponent's already like, fuck. Like,
exactly. How do I deploy? Well, I'll just castle up in a corner. And then you just, like, wrap them up with some Chaos Warhounds, put a cockatrice next to them, say, we'll see you in 5 turns once you've tried to get out of that.
drag their screen out the way, you know.
Yeah, and insert something,
Like pop a wizard on the first turn or something. Like, legitimately, I don't think it's necessarily like 65. Like, I don't think it's the strong book that it was previously because it had so much. It had so much defense before. If you got Alfred, you're like, I'll just rally it all. Not bothered. You made a mistake, rally it all. Oh, also I'm summoning more that you were never expecting. This is just a nightmare. It's not a stronger book in that way, but I think it's got loads of play. Like,
I think it's more fun.
Way more fun
previously. Like that point, like even me, and I've not really been playing, but like talking about like just the jank of playing just Dark Walkers and being like, I'm gonna learn how to run off a board, run on, and ruin your lead on the last few turns by just fucking running off a board and running on a board, bouncing into and bouncing off.
I get the feeling that it's a lot techier, and I like that. Like, rather than a number of really obvious techniques, it's got a lot of it has a lot of playability and a lot of versatility, which I think is a lot nicer. And like everyone said, I agree. I think it's going to be a lot more fun to play, but I think it's also going to be a lot more fun to play against. Like I was not often excited to play against Beasts of Chaos in their previous state. I don't mind. Like, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't mind coming up against this.
It definitely isn't the bad book that I think people were saying that it was.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I think also you're going to lose so many games because you're going to outplay yourself as the Beast of Chaos player. You're going to be like, right, okay, I'm going to big brain this. And then, and then just an absolute baby with a bazooka is going to be like, and I mean no one in particular here. Here are my 3, terrorgeists, and this is going to eat your whole army, right? Yeah, like eat your whole army. You're like, oh, okay, none of what I meant to do there was important or useful. But yeah, I think absolutely fantastic book. Actually, I'm really excited about this. This is great. Load of good options. Also,
have you just found your new army?
Get battered by squigs. Let's be really, really conscious of the fact that squigs are going to batter us. But pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. If there's a cockatrice nearby, I don't think anything's battering you, are they?
No.
Those
yeah.
And when they hit back, I think they'll punch squigs in the face.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm excited to see like back-to-back 2 awesome battletomes. Like Golden Age of War Dollies, like it's the kind of stuff that gets you excited. So I like that. I'm keen. I'm loving Beast of Chaos, loving this.
All right, perfect. I'm going to give this like a good 8 out of 10, mainly because it's just like loads that you can just like I think you got loads of play. Its ability to win, I'm not sure, but I think you can do some super fun stuff. Like, also though, maybe it's quite a lot of that stuff is your opponent not getting to do fucking anything, which is pretty sad, right? So that's tough. I like it. I like it.
Endless spells are good. I guess you're just worried about what wizards you got. Well, the Zangor wizard is great, the one on the disc, I think. And 15 points, did they say?
Yeah. Or 95 points for just a great Bray shaman who can hide off the board.
Yeah. I think you
That's
just
good
take
too.
loads of shamans and
I think
just try and force some of those spells through because they're great. They're all good value.
Good war scrolls to ally in as well.
I think it's awesome looking at it because like I'd give it a 9 personally. I'd give Gits an 8 because I think an army, like for me, a 10 out of 10 army isn't a strong army. It's not an army that would go like 5-0. I think every army, like my goal would be every army is a 3-2 or a 4-1 army, and then it's about play. And I think that this book doesn't lean into any, like I don't read anything and go, oh, that's going to fucking rattle the meta. Like for instance, when you read the More Tribes book, you looked at Underguts with Iron Blasters and Noblast screens, and you were like, that's the winner right there. That's everything. And looking at this book, I don't immediately see that anywhere. But every single, or most of the War Scrolls you read, I'm like, there's tech here. Most of the abilities, you're like, there's tech here, there's usability, and there's play. So this is just about near a perfect book for me.
And also, there's also the ability to ally units in, but also take allies out of this, because a lot of the value from these units are on their war scrolls. So I can just put that cockatrice in to the enemy army. Also, just side note, just thought about this: a Cygor, like a Beast of Chaos mirror match with like 6 fucking Bray Shamans on both sides, and then there's just a Cygor, and then both Bray Shamans are like, uh-oh. And then
yeah. But imagine allying Gorin to your army, if your Chaos army or whatever. Well, that always strikes last effects. It's great.
Also, I agree with Stavros in the chat. Absolute 10 out of 10 from Games Workshop for the fucking cheek of trying to sell us Razorgore chariots. Like, the fucking audacity of selling Razorgore chariots to us. And Spawn, and Razorgore, and Centaurs. Well done. Well done. Because
those Spawn are great value because you got like 3 or 4 different War Scrolls out of each one now. You could have a thingamajiggy Spawn, a duty flip Spawn, a flippy flop.
You know what? One of the things I love seeing is when you've got an old ass sculpt, and then for the new books they get a new lease on life and they get a new paint job. Scrolling down and having a look at the new Spawn Duddy with like the pale skin white bloke, where they've clearly tried to sexy him up, and I'm like, oh, you're rolling that turd in glitter because you've realized you can't polish it, you know? Like, it's just, it doesn't look bad, but you're like, you can see that the painter, you know, the heavy metal painter or whoever had to do it was like, shit.
Hey,
those ones always make me sad. I like it when they just stick to it and they're like, we know that we can't be asked to pay someone to paint this, so here it is on a square base from 1992.
Yeah, I agree. Right, listen, thanks everyone for tuning in live. Hope you enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed this way more than I thought I would. So thank you to Dan, Nathan, and James. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate lots. Any shout outs from any of you? Nathan, shout out for you.
I'm going to shout out some cough medicine manufacturers. I'm off to go and imbibe their products.
All right, perfect. Good. I hope you're okay, bud. James, shout out for you.
I'm going to shout out Declan because I watched Nathan trounce him on Friday, and Nathan sold it separately to that.
Good. Dan?
I'm going to shout out Mr. Berry again because I'd love to squish him and make some jam.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. We like that. I'm going to shout out Jack Asher. I don't know if he's listening, but I got to play Jack at 40k this weekend. And then Jacob Berry, because when I did the Noah video, there's like a little clip of like Jacob high-fiving his opponent. And so it really kind of like mentally hit me. So like this weekend, I just spent all weekend, whenever my opponents rolled well, I just high-fived him. I was like, bro, you just blew up my shit, high five. And it was nice. And then he messaged me being like, bro, I really liked it when you high-fived me when I was winning. And I was like, that's cool. Like, it's nice for you. So thanks to Jacob for inspiring me. Thanks to Jack for being receptive to that. And thanks to the chat for hanging out. Don't forget, we have got a Patreon if you want to support the show. And then if you are listening to the podcast, stay hydrated. Thanks to everyone for tuning in live. Loads of love. See you soon. Look after yourselves.